The Great Wall stands as a silent witness to centuries of history, its stones echoing the stories of resilience, sacrifice, and ambition. What secrets does this colossal structure hold? And how has it shaped the very soul of a nation? The Great Wall of China stands as one of the most monumental feats of engineering in human history, its origins tracing back to the Qin dynasty in the 3rd century BCE. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of a unified China, recognized the need for a defense system to protect the northern borders of his empire from the constant threat posed by nomadic tribes such as the Xiongnu. This early version of the wall, constructed primarily from rammed earth, marked the beginning of what would become an ever-evolving symbol of Chinese strength, determination, and ingenuity. Before Qin's unification, China was fragmented into several warring states, each constructing their own defensive walls to fend off rival states and invading forces. However, these walls were isolated and often ineffective when it came to uniting the country's defences. The concept of a continuous wall, designed to protect the entirety of China's northern frontier, was a visionary step towards securing the empire's vast expanse. With Qin Shi Huang's rise to power, the scattered defences were joined together, creating the foundation for what would eventually span over 13 miles. Qin Shi Huang's motivation for building the wall was not just military, it was also a political move to consolidate his empire and establish his authority. By connecting the separate fortifications of the various states, the emperor was symbolically unifying China, turning a fractured land into a cohesive, centralized empire. The wall itself was a manifestation of this new political order, a physical representation of the emperor's power over the vast, diverse land. It became a symbol of his desire for control, protection, and, ultimately, immortality. The wall was not merely an imposing physical barrier, but also a complex military system designed for constant surveillance and rapid response. Towers were strategically placed along its length, allowing for effective communication between troops stationed on the front lines. Soldiers, often working under harsh conditions, maintained these watchtowers, keeping a constant lookout for any signs of invasion. The Great Wall thus became more than a wall. It was a lifeline for the empire, allowing for defense strategies that could be mobilized swiftly and effectively. Despite the initial success, the construction of the wall was fraught with human cost. The work was labor-intensive, and thousands of workers, including soldiers, peasants, and criminals, were conscripted to toil on the wall's construction. Many died from the harsh working conditions, leading to stories of suffering and sacrifice. The wall's construction was not only a military necessity, but also a grim reminder of the price of imperial ambition. While the wall was initially a defensive structure designed to safeguard the newly unified empire from northern invaders, its legacy evolved over the centuries. It became a symbol not just of military power, but of the enduring spirit of the Chinese people, a testament to their resilience in the face of countless challenges. The Great Wall of China, born from the vision of a single emperor, would go on to capture the imagination of generations, standing as one of the world's most enduring symbols of strength and unity. The Great Wall of China, initially conceived during the Qin dynasty, would undergo continuous transformation over the centuries, evolving with each new dynasty that ruled the land. While the Qin's version of the wall was a rugged structure of rammed earth, subsequent dynasties added their own contributions, both refining and expanding upon its design. This evolution reflected the changing political landscape, military needs, and technological advancements that defined each era in China's history. After the fall of the Qin dynasty, the wall's upkeep and further construction were taken up by the Han dynasty, which sought to extend its influence and protect trade routes, such as the Silk Road. During this period, the wall expanded further westward, its role shifting from a simple defense against nomadic invaders to a more strategic military asset that also safeguarded economic interests. The Han era saw the wall constructed using a combination of materials, including brick and stone, allowing for a more durable structure compared to the earlier, less stable designs. These upgrades represented not just technological progress, but also a shift in the purpose of the wall. It was now as much a tool for controlling trade and migration as it was a defense mechanism. As dynasties rose and fell, the wall's function evolved. Under the Sui and Tang dynasties, the importance of the wall waned as the empire focused more on expanding and consolidating internal power. During these periods, much of the wall's northern sections fell into disrepair, as resources were redirected toward other priorities. However, when the Song dynasty came to power, they faced a new wave of threats from northern tribes like the Jurchen and the Mongols, which rekindled the importance of the Great Wall. The Song dynasty invested heavily in reconstructing and fortifying the existing structures, with a new focus on integrating advanced military strategies. But it was during the Ming dynasty that the wall achieved its most iconic form. Following the Mongol invasions and the subsequent Yuan dynasty's rule, the Ming rulers sought to build a permanent and formidable defense against further Mongol incursions. The Ming's approach to the wall was marked by a high level of sophistication, utilizing advanced construction techniques such as the use of bricks, stone, and mortar, along with the inclusion of watchtowers and fortresses at strategic intervals. The Ming Wall also featured improvements in defensive design, such as the creation of a series of military garrisons along its length, allowing for a more organized and efficient defense system. This phase of construction represented the peak of the wall's military functionality, with the Ming dynasty securing not just the northern borders of China, but also reaffirming the symbolic power of the wall as a bulwark against foreign invasion. Over time, however, the wall's importance as a military structure diminished. The Qing dynasty, the last imperial dynasty, largely abandoned the wall's defensive role as it expanded the empire's borders far beyond its reach. The once vital fortifications became less relevant with the shifting dynamics of modern warfare and the empire's increasingly centralized control. Today, the Great Wall of China stands not only as a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of those who built it, but also as a symbol of China's resilience and enduring cultural legacy. From its modest beginnings in the Qin dynasty to the monumental achievement of the Ming era, the wall has evolved through time, each phase reflecting the changing face of the Chinese empire. The Great Wall of China has long been more than just a physical barrier. It has served as a powerful symbol of imperial strength, unity, and authority. As the wall stretched across northern China, it represented the might of the emperor, a clear manifestation of the central government's ability to protect its people and control its vast territories. The wall, with its towering ramparts and fortified towers, was a visible reminder of the empire's resilience against external threats. To the people within the empire, it symbolized security and the unwavering reach of imperial power, offering protection from the constant incursions by nomadic tribes and foreign invaders from the north. During the Qin dynasty, when the first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, ordered the construction of what would become the Great Wall, the project was a reflection of his ambition to consolidate his rule and establish a unified China. As the first emperor of a unified nation, Qin Shi Huang sought to create a visible mark of his power, something that would endure for generations. The wall was not just a military defense, but also a political tool, a way to assert control over the vast and diverse lands he had brought together. Its sheer scale was a physical manifestation of his power, with workers toiling tirelessly to carve out a structure that would stand the test of time. The symbolism of the Great Wall grew stronger with each successive dynasty. The Han dynasty, for example, used the wall to assert its authority over the newly acquired territories of the northwest. It was no longer just a defense against invaders. It became a statement that the Han dynasty had the strength and will to protect its borders and maintain control over its sprawling empire. By the time of the Ming dynasty, the wall had become an icon of imperial might, its grandeur amplified by the advanced construction techniques and strategic military fortifications that defined the Ming period. The Ming emperors used the wall not just as a means of defense, but as a propaganda tool, showcasing the empire's ability to unite and defend its people, reinforcing the idea of imperial supremacy. Throughout these dynasties, the Great Wall became a symbol of the emperor's divine right to rule. It was portrayed as an indomitable force, invulnerable to the winds of time or the pressures of foreign aggression. In literature, art, and official decrees, the wall was celebrated as a triumph of human ingenuity and imperial will. Its construction and fortification were often glorified, and it was depicted as an enduring monument to the emperor's vision and leadership. Even as time passed and the wall's military importance waned, its symbolic power remained intact. The wall continued to be a reminder of the empire's former glory, a legacy that lived on long after the collapse of the imperial system. Today, it stands as a global symbol of strength and perseverance, a reminder of China's historical dominance and the incredible lengths its rulers went to in maintaining control over their empire. The Great Wall's legacy, both as a physical structure and a symbol, endures, shaping the way the world views the might and ambition of ancient China. Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China, is often remembered for his monumental achievements, and perhaps none more so than his role in unifying China and initiating the construction of the Great Wall. His ambition to consolidate power and create a strong, unified state defined much of his reign. Born in 259 BCE, Qin Shi Huang ascended the throne at the age of 13, and over the next few decades, successfully unified the warring states into a single empire for the first time in Chinese history. His centralization of power was revolutionary, shifting the control of the vast territory into the hands of a single ruler and abandoning the feudal system that had previously dominated China. One of his most significant actions was the beginning of the Great Wall's construction. The wall, though it existed in fragments before his reign, was unified under his command to create a massive, continuous defense along China's northern frontier. Qin Shi Huang's motivations for such a monumental project were rooted in both military necessity and his desire to project imperial power. The northern tribes, particularly the Xiongnu, posed a constant threat to the stability of the newly unified empire. The Great Wall was intended to act as a protective barrier, not just to prevent invasions, but to suppress internal dissent, ensuring that the emperor's control over his vast territories remained unchallenged. But the philosophy behind Qin Shi Huang's desire for the Great Wall extended beyond defense. It was also about demonstrating his absolute authority and divine right to rule. The wall was not simply a military structure. It was a symbol of his power, a physical manifestation of the emperor's will to shape and protect his empire. The massive scale of the project reflected the emperor's belief in his supremacy and the control he sought over the land, people, and even the forces of nature. His vision was grandiose. By linking separate fortifications into a single structure, he wanted to create a barrier that could withstand not only military threats, but also the passage of time itself. Qin Shi Huang's approach to governance was also shaped by his deep belief in legalism. a philosophy that emphasized strict laws, harsh punishments, and central authority. He saw the construction of the wall as a way to enforce his authority, asserting that no one, not even the northern tribes, could challenge his rule. This sense of control extended to the people who built the wall. Countless labourers, many of whom were conscripted from conquered territories, worked tirelessly to construct the fortifications. For the emperor, the wall represented both the security of his empire and the embodiment of his absolute rule, built at the cost of immense human effort. The philosophy of Qin Shi Huang also extended to his other monumental projects, like the creation of a unified currency, standardized measurements, and the famous terracotta army. Each was a piece of his grand design to cement his legacy as a ruler who could impose order on chaos. The Great Wall, in its enormity and purpose, was a testament to his belief that only through centralized control and the strength of his empire could China thrive, its borders defended from external threats, and its future assured under his reign. The construction of the Great Wall was an undertaking of staggering proportions, involving countless lives and immense human suffering. The labour force that built the wall was a mix of soldiers, convicts, peasants, and prisoners, all conscripted under harsh conditions to serve the emperor's grand vision. Most of these workers were not volunteers, but individuals forced into service by the weight of the emperor's will, conscripted through the policies of legalism that dominated the Qin dynasty. The conditions under which the wall was built were grueling and dangerous. Workers were subjected to long hours, inadequate food, and harsh punishment. The emperor's centralized system of control imposed strict laws, and anyone who tried to escape or refused to work was severely punished, often through brutal means. Labourers were exposed to the harsh elements of the northern frontier, with bitterly cold winters and scorching summers, all while working on an unforgiving landscape of mountains and valleys. Many of the labourers had little to no experience in construction, and the walls they built were made from mud, wood, and stone, materials that were often difficult to transport and work with under such extreme conditions. Stories of those who worked on the Great Wall have been passed down through generations, though many of these tales are shrouded in myth. The wall's construction involved military soldiers who were tasked with overseeing the work and maintaining order, but they too were at the mercy of the emperor's demands. These soldiers not only guarded the borders, but were also put to work in the trenches of construction. Many soldiers died in the process, either from the harsh conditions or as a result of accidents on the job. For many, the wall symbolized more than just a barrier against external threats. It was also a testament to the brutality of the regime. Perhaps the most tragic figures in the story of the Great Wall are the countless slaves and prisoners who were forced to work on it. These individuals were often captured from war, enslaved, or sent as punishment for crimes. Their lives were often forgotten, and their identities lost to history. These labourers were treated as expendable, their suffering written off as an unfortunate necessity to fulfil the emperor's desires. It is said that many prisoners never saw the end of their labour, succumbing to the brutality of the work or dying from exhaustion and malnutrition before their task was completed. The work was so arduous that many workers perished from the grueling conditions. Their remains were often buried in the very walls they helped construct. The bodies of the dead were used to reinforce the wall, with their graves becoming part of its structure, a tragic reminder of the lives lost in the service of a vision that demanded immense sacrifice. As the wall stretched for thousands of miles, it became a silent witness to the countless souls who worked, suffered, and died in its shadow, their efforts immortalized in stone and earth, even though their names would never be remembered. The Great Wall was not just a symbol of imperial might, It was a critical military defense structure designed to protect the heart of China from the relentless threats posed by northern nomadic tribes. These tribes, most notably the Xiongnu, were skilled horsemen and fierce warriors who had long posed a danger to China's northern borders. The wall's construction was largely driven by the need to secure the empire from these invasions, ensuring that the vast and rich lands of the Central Plains remained safe from pillaging and disruption. Strategically, the Great Wall was positioned to control access points through the mountainous regions that separated China from the steppes. Its long and winding path followed the natural contours of the terrain, allowing it to take advantage of high ground and natural barriers. Watchtowers were built at regular intervals along its length, enabling troops to spot enemy movements from miles away. These towers were more than just structures for surveillance. They acted as communication hubs, where signals could be sent across vast distances using fire, smoke, or flags. The military significance of the wall lay not only in its physical barrier, but also in its ability to coordinate a rapid response to threats. Despite the massive size of the wall, it was not impenetrable. The military strategy behind its design was to slow down invasions, giving the Chinese army time to react and mobilize. The wall itself was not a constant, unbroken line. Rather, it consisted of fortifications, watchtowers, and natural obstacles that would force invaders to funnel into specific areas. This allowed defending forces to concentrate their efforts on these vulnerable points, maximizing their defensive potential. Troops stationed at the wall would engage in quick skirmishes with invading forces, buying time for reinforcements to arrive from the interior of China. The wall's military role was complemented by a system of garrisons and supply routes that supported the soldiers stationed along its length. These soldiers were often rotated to prevent them from becoming too accustomed to the harsh conditions, which could lead to diminished morale. The wall was manned by a combination of regular army units and local militias, some of whom were recruited from the very regions the wall protected. This diverse military presence helped ensure that the defense of the empire was not solely reliant on the central government, but had roots in the local communities that lived along the wall's border. However, while the Great Wall served as a formidable defense against invasions, it also reflected the shifting nature of warfare in ancient China. The wall's ability to prevent large-scale invasions depended largely on the strategies employed by the nomadic tribes themselves. Over time, the wall's military importance diminished as the nomads adapted to new tactics and technologies, such as mounted archery and siege warfare, which enabled them to bypass or break through the defences. Nonetheless, the wall remained an enduring symbol of China's determination to defend its territory and assert its dominance over the northern frontier. The construction of the Great Wall is a testament to the ingenuity and ambition of ancient China. Spanning over 13,000 miles, it was an engineering marvel that required an extraordinary level of planning, skill, and perseverance. Building such a colossal structure across rugged mountains, barren deserts, and vast plains presented numerous challenges, yet it was accomplished through a combination of innovative techniques, local resources, and an immense labour force. The materials used in constructing the wall varied depending on the region, but each choice was influenced by what was readily available in the surrounding environment. In the mountainous regions, workers used stone and brick to create strong, durable foundations. In the desert and plains, where stone was scarce, tamped earth and wood were employed. The vast sections of the wall, built during the Qin and Han dynasties, were often made of packed earth, carefully compressed into sturdy walls. As the wall evolved through the centuries, the use of bricks and stone became more common, particularly in areas where more permanent fortifications were needed. The construction methods were tailored to the terrain and the resources available, but the underlying principles remained consistent. The wall was designed not only to keep invaders at bay, but also to serve as a permanent monument to the power of the empire. Labourers used wooden scaffolding to build higher sections, and large stones were hauled by sledges or carried up narrow mountain paths. The scale of the operation was immense, with thousands of workers from different parts of the empire contributing to its construction. These labourers, often conscripted soldiers or peasants, worked in harsh conditions, exposed to extreme weather and the dangers of the rugged terrain. The wall's construction also involved a sophisticated understanding of architecture and military defence. Watchtowers were strategically placed along the wall at regular intervals, allowing soldiers to observe the movements of enemies from afar. These towers were more than just simple buildings. They were complex fortifications that included living quarters for soldiers, storage areas for supplies, and platforms for signalling. In some sections, the wall was built in layers, with different materials used for the inner and outer walls to provide added strength and insulation against the elements. The science behind building such a structure across vast distances was a complex feat. The wall had to be designed to withstand the forces of nature, earthquakes, wind, and rain, as well as the human forces attempting to breach it. Engineers of the time used simple but effective techniques to ensure stability. The weight of the earth, when packed correctly, helped maintain the integrity of the wall, while the slope of the structure allowed it to better endure natural pressures. The sheer scale of the project required the coordination of multiple teams of workers, each contributing their expertise, from the building of foundations to the creation of decorative elements. Despite the advances in construction techniques, the wall's longevity was not simply due to engineering brilliance, but also to the strategic foresight of the Chinese rulers who invested in its creation. The Great Wall stands as one of the most impressive and enduring feats of ancient engineering, its design and construction reflecting not only the scientific knowledge of the time, but also the immense will of a civilization determined to protect its people and its way of life. The Ming dynasty, which ruled China from 1368 to 1644, marked a significant turning point in the history of the Great Wall. Though earlier dynasties had built and reinforced various sections of the wall, it was during the Ming period that the structure as we know it today took its most definitive form. The Ming emperors recognized the wall's importance not only as a physical barrier, but also as a symbol of China's strength and sovereignty. Under their leadership, the wall was not just extended, but vastly enhanced, becoming a formidable fortification that stretched from the Bohai Sea in the east to the Gobi Desert in the west. The Ming dynasty's focus on strengthening the wall was driven by the increasing threats posed by the Mongols and other nomadic tribes from the north. After the fall of the Yuan dynasty, the Mongols had been temporarily pushed back, but the rise of powerful northern tribes posed a continual risk to the stability of the Ming Empire. As a result, the Ming rulers recognized the wall's vital role in defending their borders. They invested heavily in its construction, using advanced military and architectural techniques to create a defensive line capable of withstanding the raids of increasingly sophisticated nomadic forces. One of the most notable advancements in the wall's design during the Ming era was the use of brick and stone for construction. This was a significant improvement over the previous reliance on packed earth, making the wall not only stronger but also more permanent. The Ming builders employed advanced engineering methods, creating a series of watchtowers, beacon towers, and fortresses along the wall, strategically positioned to communicate across vast distances. These structures were designed with military efficiency in mind, allowing troops to monitor movements from far away, send signals with fire or smoke, and react swiftly to threats. In addition to its military function, the wall also served as a psychological tool, signaling the power of the Ming dynasty. The immense scale and solid construction of the wall made a clear statement to potential invaders. China was no longer a vulnerable target, but an empire determined to protect its sovereignty at all costs. The Ming emperors understood the symbolic importance of the wall, and by fortifying it to such an extent, they cemented their authority not just within China, but in the broader region. Despite its impressive defensive capabilities, the wall during the Ming dynasty also reflects a deep understanding of geography and the human desire to control natural forces. Many sections of the wall were constructed along the ridgelines of mountain ranges, using the natural terrain to their advantage. The wall was not built as a single, continuous line. Rather, it was a series of interconnected sections that followed the lay of the land, incorporating watchtowers and garrison stations at strategic points. By the time the Ming dynasty came to an end, the Great Wall had evolved into one of the most powerful military fortifications in history, a symbol of both China's might and its vulnerability. The construction efforts during this period ensured that the wall would stand as an enduring testament to the efforts of a dynasty determined to safeguard its people and its empire. The legacy of the Ming dynasty's wall remains one of the most iconic and lasting symbols of China's strength, resilience, and strategic foresight. The Great Wall has played a pivotal role in shaping China's history, serving not only as a physical barrier, but also as a symbol of the country's political and military power. Spanning centuries and extending across vast regions, the wall became deeply intertwined with China's political landscape, influencing its approach to defense, governance, and territorial expansion. From the moment it was first conceived, the wall represented the Chinese Empire's determination to protect its sovereignty and secure its borders against foreign invaders, particularly the nomadic tribes to the north. As a physical structure, the wall had a profound impact on the development of China's defense strategies. Its very existence shaped the empire's relationship with the steppe nomads and other foreign powers. The wall's fortifications, watchtowers, and garrisons allowed China to establish a strong defense system against frequent raids and invasions, particularly from the Mongols and Xiongnu. This allowed China to secure its agricultural lands, which were vital to the empire's economy, from foreign conquest. However, the wall also highlighted China's vulnerability to the forces beyond its borders, and its very existence underscored the constant struggle for security that shaped Chinese dynastic history. In terms of territorial expansion, the Great Wall also marked the boundaries of Chinese influence, defining the extent of the empire's reach and control. During the early dynasties, particularly under the Qin and Han emperors, the wall was not just a defensive barrier, but a statement of territorial ambition. It symbolized China's efforts to expand and secure its domain, both militarily and culturally, against external forces. The wall was the empire's response to the ever-expanding frontier of the nomadic tribes to the north, whose mobility and military prowess posed a direct threat to China's agrarian society. By constructing the wall, China effectively demarcated its territory, creating a physical and symbolic barrier that represented the empire's desire to maintain and protect its borders. As the centuries progressed, the Great Wall continued to evolve alongside China's own political and territorial development. Under the Ming dynasty, the wall's defensive capabilities were enhanced to address the ever-growing challenges posed by the Mongols and other northern tribes. During this period, the wall also became an important tool in consolidating the empire's political authority and unifying disparate regions under a single imperial vision. It was a reflection of the centralized power that the Ming dynasty sought to establish, emphasizing not just military control, but also a cohesive political system that could effectively manage the diverse and vast lands of China. The Great Wall's influence, however, was not just about defense or territorial expansion. It also symbolized the cultural identity of China. The wall became an emblem of China's determination, resilience, and ingenuity. Its construction over centuries, through various dynasties, reflected the strength of Chinese society to endure and adapt to changing political and military pressures. The Great Wall was a testament to the collective efforts of countless individuals over time, from soldiers to peasants, each contributing to a monumental effort that was as much about political and cultural expression as it was about defense. In the modern era, the Great Wall has remained a powerful symbol in Chinese history. Its legacy continues to influence China's political outlook, reinforcing the idea of a strong, unified nation determined to protect its sovereignty and maintain its territorial integrity. The wall is not just a physical relic of the past, but an enduring symbol of the Chinese people's resilience and their long history of adapting to external pressures while preserving their identity. The Great Wall's role in Chinese history extends beyond its military significance. It also served as a vital protectorate for the Silk Road, one of the world's most famous trade routes. As a dual-purpose structure, the wall was not just a defense mechanism to thwart invaders. It also ensured the safety of merchants, travelers, and goods that flowed along the Silk Road, which connected China to Central Asia, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. The ancient trade routes allowed goods such as silk, spices, tea, and porcelain to move across vast distances, creating cultural exchanges and facilitating diplomatic ties. However, these routes also exposed China to the threats posed by nomadic tribes, including the Mongols and Xiongnu, who frequently disrupted the flow of trade. By protecting the Silk Road, the wall played a pivotal role in maintaining the prosperity of China's commercial economy. The movement of goods and resources was essential to China's political and economic stability. While China thrived on its agricultural productivity, the exchange of silk and other valuable commodities allowed the empire to establish its economic and cultural dominance across Asia and beyond. However, the constant threat from raiders made it necessary to develop secure trading paths, which is where the Great Wall became an indispensable force. The wall's construction, which spanned thousands of miles, marked the routes where merchants could travel without fear of constant attacks. Its presence provided a sense of security that allowed for more stable and organized trade. Watchtowers dotted the landscape, providing observation posts from which soldiers could monitor movement across the land. The fortified gates controlled the flow of traffic, ensuring that only those with the proper permissions were allowed to pass. These features made the wall not only an obstacle for invaders, but also a necessary element in facilitating safe commerce. The military and commercial aspects of the wall worked in tandem, providing both defense and protection for vital trading networks. The protection of the Silk Road by the wall was not just a one-sided affair. The wall also allowed for a two-way exchange, facilitating the transfer of ideas, technologies, and cultures. Chinese inventions, such as paper, gunpowder, and the compass, travelled along the Silk Road to the west, while exotic goods, religions, and knowledge flowed into China from the rest of the world. The Great Wall, in its protective role, safeguarded this cultural exchange, making it one of the most significant global trade routes of its time. While the Great Wall's military purpose often overshadows its role in trade, the wall's contributions to the economic prosperity of China cannot be understated. By ensuring the safety of the Silk Road, the wall acted as a guardian of not just China's borders, but also its access to the wealth, ideas, and cultures of the broader world. The interconnection between military defense and economic growth epitomizes the wall's unique place in Chinese history. a protectorate that bridged the gap between commerce and security. The Great Wall of China is not just a monument of stone and earth. It is also a canvas upon which centuries of myths and legends have been painted. The massive structure, stretching across the rugged landscape of northern China, has long been the subject of tales, many of which have been woven into the very fabric of Chinese culture. These stories, passed down through generations, have transformed the wall from a mere defensive structure into a symbol of mystery and awe. One of the most persistent myths surrounding the Great Wall is the tale of its construction and the labourers who built it. It is said that countless workers, including soldiers, peasants, and even prisoners, were forced to toil day and night under harsh conditions. Some stories claim that the labour was so grueling that many workers perished in the process, their spirits remaining trapped within the wall. These restless spirits are said to haunt the wall, and some local legends even tell of ghostly apparitions appearing to travellers and workers in the dead of night, their cries echoing through the empty sections of the wall. The idea that the wall was constructed at a terrible human cost gave rise to a legend known as the Lady of the Wall. According to the story, a young woman was separated from her husband as he was conscripted to work on the wall. Grieving for his absence, she waited for him day after day, hoping for his return. As time passed, she grew desperate and overwhelmed by her sorrow. She threw herself against the wall, her body entombed within its stones. In some versions of the story, it is said that her spirit still wanders the wall, calling out for her lost love, her voice carried by the winds. Other folklore surrounding the wall includes tales of mystical creatures and supernatural events. One such story speaks of a dragon that lived beneath the wall. This dragon, believed to be a guardian of the empire, would rise from the earth in times of danger to protect China from invading forces. The dragon's powers were said to be linked to the wall's strength, and it was believed that the wall could only be breached when the dragon slumbered. In some variations of the tale, the dragon's energy was drained by the toil of the workers, whose sacrifices kept it awake and vigilant. The wall has also inspired more eerie ghost stories. It is said that on certain foggy nights, the sound of chains dragging along the wall can be heard, a reminder of the many who suffered in its construction. These stories, filled with images of shadows creeping along the wall's vast length, have become a staple of local folklore, contributing to the wall's eerie, almost mystical reputation. These myths and legends, while often exaggerated or fictional, reflect the deep connection the Chinese people have with the Great Wall. They add layers of cultural and emotional significance to a structure that has long been a symbol of resilience and protection. Over the centuries, the wall has not just withstood the forces of nature and war, it has also absorbed the myths and legends of the people who built and maintained it, transforming it into something far more than just a physical barrier. It became a living legend in its own right. The Great Wall of China, an awe-inspiring structure that stretches across mountains, deserts, and plains, is not only known for its monumental scale and historical significance, but also for the eerie legends that surround it. For centuries, it has been said that the spirits of those who perished during its construction still haunt its towering walls, their restless souls forever tied to the stone and earth. These stories, passed down through generations, have become an integral part of the wall's mystique, blending the physical with the supernatural. Many of the myths surrounding the wall's ghosts speak of the countless labourers, peasants, soldiers, and prisoners who worked under harsh conditions. Forced into grueling labour, they endured exhaustion, hunger, and bitter cold. It is said that many of these workers died on the job, their lives claimed by the unforgiving environment. or the backbreaking nature of their tasks. Their spirits, according to legend, were trapped in the wall itself. As the story goes, the souls of these workers are still bound to the wall, forever toiling in an endless cycle, unable to find peace. Some versions of the story describe the spirits as wandering figures, appearing on foggy nights to those who venture too close to the wall. These spectral workers are said to be seen with their faces contorted in agony, their eyes filled with sorrow and regret. The most chilling encounters are said to occur during the early hours of the morning, when the mist clings to the wall and the temperature drops. Travellers and workers alike have reported hearing strange sounds, whispers carried by the wind, footsteps echoing along the stone, or the faint, sorrowful cries of those who perished. Some claim to have seen shadows moving in the distance, figures draped in tattered clothing, walking along the wall as if still bound to their endless labour. One particularly chilling tale speaks of a woman who, unable to bear the thought of her husband's death while working on the wall, sought him out, only to be swallowed by the stone herself. It is said that her spirit can still be heard, calling for her lost love in the dead of night. Her voice is said to be faint at first, but as you walk deeper into the shadowed stretch of the wall, the calls grow louder, growing desperate as if she is still searching for him. In addition to these spectral figures, there are stories of supernatural encounters tied to the wall's construction. The belief in spirits is deeply ingrained in Chinese culture, and many workers reportedly feared that their actions might invoke the wrath of the gods or spirits tied to the land. It is said that before embarking on the project, workers would often perform rituals to appease the spirits of the mountains and the earth, hoping to avoid the wrath of those who may have been offended by the intrusion of the wall into their domain. As the years passed, the Great Wall became more than just a military defence. It became a repository of these stories of souls lost to time and to the relentless forces that shaped the wall. Whether or not one believes in the existence of these spirits, the tales of the lost souls remain a testament to the immense human cost of building one of the world's most iconic structures. The Great Wall of China, standing as a formidable barrier across the northern frontier, has always represented much more than just a physical structure. Its construction and purpose have had a profound psychological impact on the Chinese people, influencing their perception of themselves, their empire, and the world beyond. From the moment the first stones were laid, the wall became a symbol of both strength and division, shaping the collective consciousness of the nation for centuries to come. The psychological weight of the Great Wall lies in its dual role as both a protector and a divider. On one hand, it was built to safeguard the Chinese Empire from the frequent invasions of nomadic tribes from the north. As such, it became a literal and symbolic boundary, a clear demarcation between the civilization of China and the so-called barbarian lands beyond. For the people of China, the wall embodied their need to protect their culture, traditions, and way of life from the perceived threat of external forces. It was not merely a wall in the physical sense, but a representation of their desire to preserve their identity against the chaos and unpredictability of the outside world. Over the centuries, as the wall expanded and evolved, it began to take on an even deeper psychological significance. It became a reflection of the imperial authority that commissioned its construction, reinforcing the power of the emperor and the central government. The wall stood as a monumental achievement, showcasing the empire's capability to mobilize immense resources and labor for a common purpose. It was a testament to the Chinese people's perseverance and unity, but also a constant reminder of the vulnerability of their land. As much as the wall protected, it also underscored the fear of invasion, a fear that was ever present in the minds of the people. At the same time, the wall became a psychological barrier within the minds of the people, separating them not only from foreign invaders, but also from the unknown. The vast stretches of the wall, winding over mountains and deserts, evoked a sense of isolation, the notion that China was both a stronghold of civilization and an isolated entity persisted throughout the centuries. For many, the wall symbolized the boundaries of their world, a world that, while rich in culture and history, was often defined by its limitations. This boundary reinforced a sense of unity within China, a psychological reinforcement of the idea that the empire's greatness lay within its borders. Yet, it also created a sense of separation and exclusion. The psychological divide between China and the other grew over time, with the wall standing as a stark reminder of this perceived difference. It was a line in the sand that marked the distinction between civilization and barbarism, creating an entrenched mindset that lasted for generations. In the collective memory of the Chinese people, the Great Wall has always been more than just a military structure. It became a psychological fortress, guarding not just the empire's physical borders, but also its identity and values. It was a symbol of both protection and division, shaping the way the Chinese viewed their place in the world and the world's perception of them. The Mongol invasions of China in the 13th century were perhaps the ultimate test for the Great Wall. For centuries, the wall had stood as a symbol of China's strength and a defense against northern invaders. Its towering ramparts were designed to protect the empire from barbarian tribes, yet it was during the Mongol incursions that the wall's effectiveness was truly tested. The Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan and later his descendants, were among the most formidable forces China had ever encountered, and the Great Wall, despite its grandeur, proved to be insufficient in the face of such relentless power. Initially, the Great Wall seemed to hold the Mongols at bay. Its impressive fortifications, watchtowers, and garrison troops were formidable obstacles, and for several decades, the Mongols faced significant difficulties in breaching the wall. The Mongol invasions were characterized by their unyielding strategy and sheer force, yet the wall was able to provide some level of protection to the Chinese kingdoms. However, the Mongols were known for their adaptability, and their strategies evolved rapidly in response to the wall's defences. One of the most significant moments in the history of the wall occurred when the Mongols, after years of failed attempts to breach it, shifted their tactics. Rather than attacking the wall directly, they circumvented it by forging alliances with some of the local tribes and using their knowledge of the terrain to bypass the wall's strongholds. In this way, the Mongols gradually encroached on Chinese territory, undermining the wall's strategic purpose and illustrating its vulnerabilities. The Mongols' use of psychological warfare also played a role in weakening the resolve of those defending the wall, as they employed terror tactics that frightened both civilians and soldiers alike. The Mongol success and eventual conquest of China in 1279 under Kublai Khan marked a significant turning point in the perception of the Great Wall. For all its grandeur and purpose, the wall ultimately failed to prevent the Mongols from achieving their goal. The Mongols' ability to navigate the wall's defences and eventually occupy China demonstrated the limitations of the structure, raising questions about its effectiveness as a long-term solution to the empire's defence. While the wall had once been seen as an impregnable fortress, it now appeared as just one obstacle in a broader strategic equation that the Mongols were able to outmaneuver. The fall of the Mongols and their eventual ousting from China by the Ming dynasty in the 14th century marked the beginning of a new era for the Great Wall. In the wake of the Mongol conquest, the perception of the wall shifted. No longer just a symbol of invulnerability, it became a reminder of the empire's resilience and capacity for renewal. The Ming dynasty, in particular, undertook massive rebuilding efforts to strengthen the wall and adapt it to the lessons learned during the Mongol invasions. The Mongol success had shown that the wall, while a potent symbol, needed to be more than just a physical barrier. It required constant reinvention and adaptation to remain a viable defense. Thus, the Mongol invasions and their subsequent failure in China profoundly changed how the Great Wall was viewed. It was no longer just a passive protector, but a dynamic element in a larger defense strategy, shaped by the realities of warfare and the shifting tides of history. The Great Wall of China was never just a physical barrier. It was part of a complex military network that played a crucial role in defending the empire. Its construction was carefully planned not only to deter invasions, but to create an integrated system of defense, one that utilized the wall itself in conjunction with watchtowers, forts, and garrisoned troops spread along its vast length. The wall was much more than a series of stones and earth. It was a strategic masterpiece designed to enhance communication, surveillance, and military response. Watchtowers, placed at regular intervals along the wall, were key to its military effectiveness. These towers acted as both lookout posts and communication hubs. Soldiers stationed in these towers had a clear line of sight across vast distances, allowing them to spot enemy movements from miles away. The towers were strategically placed at high points, giving defenders a commanding view of the surrounding landscape. As a result, they could track the movements of nomadic tribes, caravans, or other potential threats long before they arrived at the wall's gates. In addition to the watchtowers, the wall itself was dotted with forts and military barracks. These provided the necessary infrastructure for troops to be stationed along the wall for extended periods, allowing them to respond quickly to threats. Garrison troops were a critical component of the wall's defense system, providing a human element that complemented the physical structure. These soldiers were well trained in the use of weapons, archery, and siege tactics, prepared to defend the wall with force if needed. The forts served as logistical hubs, storing food, ammunition, and other supplies to sustain troops during long campaigns. The combination of watchtowers, forts, and garrison soldiers created a layered defense that was both physical and tactical. The military network, created by the Great Wall, was a dynamic system that integrated the wall into the broader strategy of defense. Troops could be quickly moved from one section of the wall to another, depending on the threat level. Thanks to a sophisticated communication system, signal fires, smoke signals, and drums were used to relay messages across vast distances. These systems allowed the defenders to coordinate their efforts and ensure that reinforcements were always available when needed. The wall thus became part of an early warning system that kept the empire informed of any approaching dangers. The Great Wall also played a role in creating a psychological barrier, deterring invaders, not only with its physical presence, but with the knowledge that they would face a well-coordinated and prepared military force. It was a constant reminder to both invaders and defenders of the empire's power and determination to protect its territory. In this sense, the Great Wall was far more than just a barrier. It was a living, breathing military network that evolved to meet the challenges of warfare. Its true value lay not only in its formidable structure, but in the military strategies and systems it enabled, making it one of the most effective defensive lines in ancient history. After the fall of the Ming dynasty, the Great Wall, once a symbol of imperial strength and an essential military defense, began to lose its prominence. The Ming's centralization of power and the internal struggles that followed contributed to the gradual decline of the wall's military function. As China transitioned through successive dynasties, the geopolitical landscape shifted, and with it, the significance of the wall diminished. While it had once been a vital line of defense against northern invasions, particularly from the Mongols, the evolving threats and changes in military tactics rendered the wall less relevant. In the centuries following the Ming Dynasty, China faced new kinds of challenges, ones that required different strategies. The Manchu-led Qing dynasty, which eventually ruled over China, expanded the empire far beyond the wall's protective reach, incorporating territories that were no longer easily threatened by nomadic incursions. With a new form of empire came new military strategies that relied on more mobile and advanced forces. The wall, once a defensive bulwark, became less necessary as internal and external threats changed in nature. The Qing military, more equipped for warfare in the open plains and larger territories, found the wall's traditional role in defense to be less effective against these new dynamics. In modern times, the Great Wall has become a relic of the past, its role as a military defense long gone. While it once served as a symbol of security and a monumental structure meant to hold back invaders, it eventually faded into history. The wall became an object of nostalgia, its original purpose overshadowed by the rapid modernization and technological advancements of the late 19th and 20th centuries. Warfare evolved with the rise of firearms, tanks, and air superiority, making physical barriers like the Great Wall obsolete in the face of modern combat tactics. The wall's decline was also marked by its neglect. With the end of its military usefulness, the once immense network of garrisoned forts and watchtowers fell into ruin. The Chinese government, busy with modernization and industrialization, did not prioritize the upkeep of such historical structures. Nature slowly reclaimed parts of the wall. As the elements eroded the bricks and stone, sections of the Great Wall, particularly those far removed from popular tourist areas, were left to deteriorate, largely forgotten by the public. However, the wall has found new life in modern times as a symbol of China's rich cultural and historical heritage. While its military importance has long been a thing of the past, the Great Wall continues to stand as a powerful reminder of the nation's resilience and determination to protect its sovereignty. Today, it is revered not for its role in defense, but for its historical significance, drawing millions of tourists and historians who come to marvel at its grandeur and learn about the ancient civilization that built it. Despite the neglect it faced for much of its later years, the Great Wall remains an iconic structure, its fading stones speaking to the past while continuing to inspire awe and admiration in the present. As time has passed, the Great Wall, once a towering sentinel against invaders, has been slowly reclaimed by nature. In some areas, the wall has been engulfed by thick forests, with vines wrapping themselves around its stone and brick, obscuring sections that once commanded vast stretches of land. In other places, the wall has been covered by the shifting sands of the desert, as the landscape that once sustained it has gradually changed. The combination of time, weather, and nature's power has softened the sharp lines of this once mighty structure, turning it into a monument not just to human engineering, but to nature's ability to restore what was once lost. In areas where the wall stretches through dense forests, trees have taken root in the cracks and crevices of the stones. Their roots push through the ancient walls, gradually weakening the foundation that held the structure in place for centuries. The once imposing fortifications now seem fragile in the face of the unrelenting growth of plant life. Moss and lichen cover the stonework, giving it an almost ethereal quality as the wall seems to blend seamlessly with the natural world. The once pristine boundaries, defined by human hands, now appear as part of the wilderness, as though the wall and the land were always meant to be one. On the other side, the wall meets the vastness of the desert, where the harsh winds and shifting dunes have begun to bury sections of the structure under layers of sand. In some places, entire stretches of the wall are barely visible, as the relentless desert encroaches and hides the remnants of what was once an impenetrable barrier. The desert's natural rhythm, which shifts the landscape with each passing year, leaves its mark on the wall, eroding and burying parts of it that once stood tall and strong against any force that might threaten. This natural reclamation poses a significant challenge for preservationists and historians. Restoring the Great Wall to its original grandeur is an immense task, one that requires not just an understanding of the wall's historical and architectural significance, but also the complex interaction between the structure and the environment. Conservation efforts aim to protect the wall from further deterioration, but the challenge is profound. Some sections are so far removed from urban areas that access for restoration teams is limited, while others are in regions where extreme weather conditions, such as harsh winters or scorching summers, accelerate the natural processes of decay. In recent decades, the Chinese government, along with international preservation organizations, has taken steps to protect the wall, especially the more famous and well-preserved sections. Restoration projects have focused on stabilizing the wall in areas most affected by natural forces, such as in places where it has suffered from erosion or weather damage. However, this balance between maintaining the historical integrity of the wall and allowing nature to continue its process of reclamation is delicate. Too much interference could disrupt the wall's historical authenticity, while too little might lead to its further degradation. The Great Wall's slow and inevitable reclamation by nature stands as a reminder of the passage of time and the impermanence of human achievements. Yet, even in its partial decay and quiet surrender to the elements, the wall continues to captivate and inspire. It serves as a living testament to both the resilience of nature and the enduring legacy of one of humanity's greatest endeavours. The Great Wall, once a military structure designed to defend an empire, has evolved into one of China's most iconic symbols. Today, it stands not only as a monument to ancient engineering, but also as a powerful cultural and national symbol, resonating deeply with the Chinese people. Its significance has transformed from a physical barrier protecting the nation to a symbol of strength, endurance, and unity. The wall, stretching across the country, connects the past with the present, reminding people of their shared history and the resilience that has shaped the modern nation. In contemporary China, the Great Wall embodies national pride. It is celebrated as a testament to the ingenuity and determination of those who built it, and to the enduring spirit of the Chinese civilization. The wall's significance is often reflected in Chinese art, literature, and popular culture, where it symbolizes not only historical power, but also the perseverance and identity of the Chinese people. The idea of the wall as a protector is still deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness, a reminder of the past struggles and the victories that helped shape the nation. Moreover, the Great Wall functions as a bridge between China's ancient heritage and the world. As a cultural landmark, it draws millions of visitors from across the globe, curious to see one of the most impressive human-made structures in history. Its presence in the heart of China offers a unique window into the country's past, allowing visitors to walk along the same paths once trod by soldiers, merchants, and emperors. The wall has become not only a place of historical reflection, but also a tourist destination that generates both cultural exchange and significant revenue for the local communities. Visitors are not only captivated by the wall's grandeur, but also by its connection to the vastness of China's geography. As the wall traverses some of the most diverse and picturesque landscapes in the country. However, with the influx of tourism, the Great Wall has also become a focal point for preservation challenges. The sheer number of tourists visiting the wall annually puts pressure on certain sections, particularly those closest to urban centres like Beijing. Efforts to balance accessibility with conservation are ongoing, as the wall's popularity continues to rise. Despite this, the Great Wall remains a constant presence in the lives of many Chinese citizens, often serving as a backdrop to national celebrations and events. Its historical significance has been woven into China's modern-day narrative, reinforcing the connection between the country's glorious past and its present-day achievements. The wall's role as a cultural landmark extends beyond its tourist appeal. It has become a symbol of perseverance and endurance in the face of adversity, qualities that continue to resonate with the Chinese people today. The Great Wall is not just a relic of the past, but an enduring part of the cultural and national identity of China, standing as a reminder of what has been built and what remains to be achieved. The Great Wall, a marvel of ancient engineering, has endured centuries of wear and tear, with much of it succumbing to the forces of time, nature, and neglect. In recent decades, as both China's pride in the wall and its status as a global cultural icon have grown, restoration efforts have intensified. The goal is to preserve this monumental structure for future generations while maintaining its historical and cultural significance. Yet, the restoration process is not without its challenges and controversies, as efforts to modernize and conserve the wall often clash with the desire to protect its authenticity and historical integrity. The Chinese government, in collaboration with international organizations and local communities, has poured significant resources into preserving the Great Wall. Sections that were once crumbling under the weight of natural erosion, weather conditions, and human impact are now being restored with more modern materials. These efforts are focused on stabilizing the wall's most vulnerable areas, particularly those close to major tourist destinations, like the sections near Beijing. In these high-traffic areas, restoration efforts include reinforcing the wall's structure, rebuilding broken sections, and preventing further damage caused by environmental factors. Some sections have been reconstructed using traditional techniques and local materials in an effort to retain the authenticity of the wall's original construction. However, the very idea of restoring the wall brings with it a complex debate. On one hand, there's a desire to protect this ancient wonder from the ravages of time and human interference, ensuring its survival for future generations. But on the other hand, there's a tension between restoration and authenticity. Many historians and preservationists argue that some sections of the wall should be left untouched, as restoring them too much could strip away the sense of history and age that makes the wall so powerful. The line between repair and reconstruction is often blurred, and the debate centers around how much is too much, whether restoring the wall to its former glory could overshadow its original purpose and significance. The controversies surrounding the restoration of the wall are compounded by the challenge of balancing tourism with preservation. The sections of the Great Wall that draw the most visitors, like those near Beijing, are often the ones most affected by restoration efforts. The influx of tourists, many of whom contribute to wear and tear through simply walking on the wall, further complicates preservation efforts. Some critics argue that the restoration process is driven more by tourism revenue than by genuine concerns for conservation. The pressure to maintain accessibility to such a well-known landmark while ensuring its structural integrity often results in decisions that may not always align with the wall's historical authenticity. Despite these challenges, the restoration of the Great Wall is a necessary endeavor. It is a delicate balancing act between preservation, authenticity, and modernization. As the wall continues to stand, it serves as a testament to the perseverance of the Chinese people, not only in its original construction, but also in the ongoing efforts to preserve it as a symbol of national pride and cultural legacy. The debate surrounding its restoration is a reflection of the greater struggle of balancing heritage with modernity, and the understanding that some monuments, like the Great Wall, transcend time and history, requiring care and consideration as they move forward into the future. The Great Wall of China stands as an enduring symbol of the country's rich history, resilience, and unity. Over the centuries, it has transcended its original military function and become a cornerstone of China's national identity, deeply ingrained in the cultural psyche of the Chinese people. The wall's significance extends far beyond its physical presence. It embodies the spirit of determination, the strength of the nation, and the resolve of the people who built it. In modern China, the Great Wall represents the triumph of human effort against the forces of nature and foreign invasion, encapsulating the nation's historical struggles for sovereignty and independence. The wall's influence is seen throughout China's cultural expression, from traditional art to contemporary cinema. In art, the Great Wall often appears as a central motif, symbolizing not only national strength, but also the complex relationship between the land and the people who inhabit it. Ancient paintings frequently depict the wall winding across rugged terrain, emphasizing both its grandeur and the perseverance required to maintain it. This visual representation has been passed down through generations, continuously reimagined by modern artists who view the wall as a powerful metaphor for the continuity of Chinese civilization. Literature, too, has been shaped by the wall's symbolic weight. The wall is referenced in numerous Chinese poems, books, and historical texts, often as a metaphor for protection, division, and endurance. In both ancient and modern Chinese literature, the wall evokes ideas of boundaries, whether political, cultural, or psychological, marking the divide between China and the outside world. Writers have portrayed the wall not just as a physical structure, but as a living entity that holds memories of battles fought, sacrifices made, and victories won. It remains a potent symbol for the Chinese people, representing their struggles to preserve their heritage and resist external threats. The Great Wall also holds a prominent place in Chinese cinema, where it often appears as a backdrop for stories of heroism, conquest, and cultural pride. Films like The Great Wall, 2016, have brought the wall into the global spotlight, showcasing not just its historical significance, but also its role in the national consciousness. Chinese filmmakers have used the wall as a setting for epic tales, portraying it as both a fortress and a metaphor for national unity. In these films, the wall is often depicted as a steadfast protector of the nation, standing tall against foreign invaders, much like the Chinese people themselves. In contemporary China, the Great Wall also serves as a reminder of the country's enduring strength in the face of adversity. It is a powerful symbol used in political rhetoric, promoting a sense of pride and unity among the Chinese people. It has become a national treasure, not only attracting millions of tourists each year, but also serving as a unifying symbol that resonates with all generations of Chinese, reminding them of their shared heritage and the sacrifices made by their ancestors. Ultimately, the Great Wall's role in Chinese national identity is multifaceted, extending beyond its physical form. It has evolved into an enduring symbol of cultural pride, resilience, and unity, influencing generations of Chinese in their art, literature, and cinema. The wall stands as a testament to the strength of the Chinese people, reflecting their capacity to protect and preserve their civilization through the ages. The Great Wall of China has become a fixture in global pop culture, captivating the imaginations of people worldwide for centuries. As one of the most iconic structures in human history, it has transcended its origins as a military fortification to become a symbol of resilience, mystery, and adventure. Its presence in films, books, music, and other cultural expressions has cemented its status as a universal emblem of strength and endurance. offering a wealth of inspiration for artists, writers, and creators across the globe. In cinema, the Great Wall has appeared in numerous films, often serving as both a literal and symbolic barrier. From epic historical dramas to modern thrillers, the Wall is portrayed as a majestic and formidable structure that challenges both characters and audiences to confront themes of division, protection, and the limits of human ambition. Films like The Great Wall, 2016, though historically fictionalized, captured the imagination of millions by intertwining the Wall's ancient mystique with high-stakes adventure. It has also been featured in numerous documentaries, where it is not just a backdrop, but a focal point in the exploration of China's culture, history, and global significance. In these films, the Wall often takes on a life of its own, representing the tension between civilization and the wild, the known and the unknown. Literature, too, has found fertile ground for inspiration in the Great Wall. Writers from various parts of the world have used the Wall as a metaphor for boundaries, whether personal, cultural, or geographical. In works such as The Wall by Jean-Paul Sartre, the physicality of the Great Wall serves as a profound symbol of human isolation and separation, inviting readers to reflect on their own experiences of division. Other novels, like The Tale of the Great Wall by H.G. Wells, explore the Wall's historical role, blending fact with fiction to provide a rich narrative that stretches the imagination while grounding it in real-world events. The Great Wall's endless expanse also captures the attention of poets and novelists, who often draw parallels between the Wall and the boundaries humans create, whether in relationships, societies, or even within their own hearts. In music, the Great Wall has been referenced as a symbol of strength and struggle. Artists from around the world have used it as a metaphor for overcoming obstacles, with references in rock songs, classical compositions, and even pop ballads. The Wall's association with endurance and protection resonates with musicians who are drawn to its enduring power as a metaphor for facing adversity, whether in a poignant ballad about personal struggle or in a rousing anthem about overcoming odds. The Great Wall serves as an evergreen image of persistence. Beyond these mediums, the Great Wall continues to influence popular culture through art, fashion, and design. Its image appears on everything from postcards to merchandise, clothing lines to video games, serving as a reminder of its enduring allure and symbolism. In these various forms, the Wall becomes more than just a historical monument. It is a living, breathing part of modern culture, continually reinterpreted and reimagined by each new generation. The Great Wall's role in popular culture thus speaks to its universal appeal, connecting people across cultures and time periods, all drawn to its monumental scale, its powerful history, and its timeless relevance. The Great Wall of China, while perhaps the most famous ancient fortification in the world, is not alone in its purpose or design. Throughout history, various civilizations have built monumental defense systems to protect their people and their territories from invasions. Much like the Wall did for China, these fortifications share common goals, but also exhibit unique features based on their respective geographies, cultures, and military needs. One of the most well-known ancient walls for comparison is Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain, built by the Romans around 122 AD. It was intended to keep the Picts, a group of tribes from what is now Scotland, from invading Roman Britain. Much like the Great Wall, Hadrian's Wall was a visible boundary meant to demarcate the frontier of a powerful empire, serving both as a defensive barrier and as a symbol of Roman dominance. While the Great Wall extended over vast distances, Hadrian's Wall was a much shorter, more localized structure, but both walls featured watchtowers and forts along their lengths. However, Hadrian's Wall was constructed more with the intention of limiting access to Roman territory and controlling movement, rather than engaging in long-term protection against nomadic invasions, as the Great Wall did. Similarly, the Wall of the ancient Israelites, sometimes referred to as the Walls of Jerusalem, is another significant fortification. Built over time in various stages, Jerusalem's walls were integral to protecting the city from neighboring kingdoms and invaders, particularly during times of conflict, such as the Babylonian siege. The strategic purpose of these walls was different in scale and function. Jerusalem's walls were designed to protect a specific city, not an entire empire, which was the case with the Great Wall. While the Great Wall was meant to secure China from the constant threat of northern nomads, the walls of Jerusalem were more about defense against military forces that could lay siege to a single city or region. The walls in Jerusalem also had religious and political significance, as the city itself was the spiritual center of Judaism. Another comparable defense system is the Berlin Wall, built in the 20th century, which bears little resemblance in terms of design, but is similar in its purpose of separation. The Berlin Wall served to divide East and West Berlin during the Cold War, symbolizing the ideological and political divide between communist and capitalist ideologies. While not constructed for military defense, the Berlin Wall was intended to control movement and prevent defection, similar in some ways to the way the Great Wall restricted the movement of invaders into China, creating a physical and symbolic division between the empire and the outside world. Despite these similarities, the Great Wall stands out due to its sheer scale and the constant modifications made over centuries. Other walls, such as Hadrian's or the Jerusalem walls, were relatively static in design, whereas the Great Wall adapted to changing military technologies and strategies. The Chinese used a variety of materials, from brick and stone to packed earth, depending on the region's geography. Additionally, the Great Wall wasn't just a wall, it was part of an integrated defense system involving garrison troops, watchtowers, beacon fires, and strategic military posts, making it one of the most complex defensive systems in history. In the end, while these various walls served similar purposes of protecting their civilizations from external threats, each reflected the unique cultural, geographic, and military needs of its time, and each left an enduring mark on the history of defense architecture. The Great Wall of China, beyond its historical and military significance, also finds deep connections with Chinese philosophy, reflecting both the cultural and metaphysical values that have shaped the country's intellectual and spiritual history. The wall is not just a physical barrier. It serves as a symbol of the philosophical ideals that have governed China for centuries. From Taoism and Confucianism to Buddhism, in Taoist thought, the wall represents the delicate balance between force and flexibility, a concept central to the philosophy of the Tao. Taoism emphasizes the natural flow of life, the Tao, and the need to harmonize with nature rather than impose rigid control. The Great Wall, with its long serpentine path winding across the natural landscape, mirrors this Taoist ideal. It is a manifestation of human will, a symbol of the determination to protect, yet it is also integrated into the natural world, flowing through mountains and deserts, adapting to the landscape rather than conquering it completely. The wall, much like Taoist teachings, is a subtle force. It is not merely a rigid, immovable object, but one that works with the natural environment, transforming the land it touches while maintaining a sense of balance. Confucianism, with its emphasis on order, duty, and the relationship between the ruler and the ruled, also finds a resonance in the Great Wall. In Confucian thought, the social and political structure must be orderly and just to ensure harmony within the state. The wall, as a manifestation of imperial authority and protection, symbolizes the ruler's responsibility to safeguard the well-being of the people. It stands as a reminder of the Confucian ideal that rulers must protect their subjects from external threats, maintaining the peace and order necessary for a flourishing society. Moreover, the wall's extensive construction, spanning dynasties and generations, reflects the Confucian value of perseverance and duty to future generations. The wall is a monument to the idea that governance and protection extend beyond the present ruler, binding together the past, present, and future in a continuous effort to preserve the state. Buddhism, which came to China centuries after the wall's construction, also offers a lens through which to understand its metaphysical significance. In Buddhist thought, the physical world is often seen as an illusion, and the concept of walls can be interpreted as a metaphor for the barriers within the mind that prevent enlightenment. The Great Wall, in this context, can be viewed as a symbol of the internal barriers that one must overcome in the pursuit of spiritual awakening. Just as the wall separates China from the nomadic invaders from the north, it can represent the separations within the mind between ignorance and enlightenment, attachment and liberation. The Great Wall, then, is not only a physical structure, but a reflection of the spiritual walls that individuals must dismantle on their journey to self-awareness and wisdom. In Chinese philosophy, the Great Wall becomes more than just a monument to protection. It becomes a symbol of the human condition itself. It embodies the balance between control and harmony with nature, the responsibility of leadership, and the spiritual barriers that individuals must overcome in pursuit of enlightenment. Through Taoist, Confucian, and Buddhist lenses, the wall's metaphysical significance transcends its physical form, resonating deeply within the cultural and philosophical fabric of China. The Great Wall of China has evolved from a military fortress to one of the most iconic tourist attractions in the world, drawing millions of visitors each year. Its enduring allure lies not only in its historical significance, but also in its awe-inspiring scale and the stories it holds within its ancient stones. For centuries, the wall has stood as a testament to the determination and ingenuity of the Chinese people. Today, it stands as a global symbol of resilience and human achievement, beckoning travellers from all corners of the globe to experience its grandeur. Tourism around the Great Wall began to flourish in the late 20th century, especially after China opened its doors to international travellers. In the past few decades, the wall has become a must-visit destination for anyone travelling to China. With sections of the wall stretching across more than 13,000 miles, visitors can explore a variety of experiences, from well-preserved stretches near Beijing, such as Badaling and Mutianyu, to more remote, rugged areas that are less frequented but equally captivating. These accessible sections have been developed with modern amenities, offering tourists the opportunity to walk along the ancient structure while enjoying panoramic views of the surrounding landscapes. The cable cars and well-maintained pathways have made the Great Wall more accessible, allowing visitors of all ages to appreciate the beauty and history of this colossal monument. The influx of tourism to the Great Wall has transformed local economies, especially in the areas surrounding popular sections. Villages and towns near the wall have capitalized on the steady flow of tourists by developing businesses, from souvenir shops and restaurants to small hotels and guest houses. In this way, the Great Wall has become a key driver of tourism-related industries, offering economic opportunities to both rural and urban populations. The tourism industry around the Great Wall has created jobs, provided educational experiences, and helped to preserve the wall's cultural heritage through revenue generated from entry fees and tourism services. However, with the surge of tourists also comes the challenge of maintaining the integrity of this ancient wonder. Overcrowding in certain areas, particularly the more popular sections like Badaling, has raised concerns about the preservation of the wall. Efforts have been made to regulate the number of visitors, limit physical contact with certain areas, and enforce preservation practices to prevent damage. In contrast, less developed sections of the wall face the opposite problem, with neglect and exposure to the elements causing significant wear and tear over the years. Balancing the need for accessibility with the desire to preserve the wall's historical and cultural value has become a critical issue for both local authorities and international preservation groups. The cultural impact of the Great Wall as a tourist destination is profound. It has become a symbol of national pride, not only for the Chinese people, but for the world at large. Its image has permeated popular culture, literature, and film, reinforcing its status as a monumental achievement. For visitors, walking along the Great Wall is a powerful experience, one that connects them to an ancient civilization and the vastness of history. The Great Wall is no longer merely a relic of the past, but a living monument that continues to inspire awe and admiration in all who visit. The Great Wall of China, though an awe-inspiring monument that spans over 13 miles, is not entirely accessible to the public. While many sections of the wall have been carefully preserved and are open to visitors, others remain inaccessible due to difficult terrain, political restrictions, and the sheer vastness of the structure itself. The wall is spread across a diverse landscape, from steep mountains and deserts to remote regions that are challenging to reach without proper resources and infrastructure. One of the most well-known and accessible sections of the Great Wall is near Beijing, particularly at Badaling, which has been heavily developed for tourism. This area is equipped with modern amenities such as cable cars, walking paths, and well-maintained guard towers, making it suitable for visitors of all ages and abilities. Other popular sections like Mutianyu and Jinshanling also offer a similar experience, blending historical charm with modern conveniences, allowing tourists to walk along the wall and enjoy panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. These sections, though more crowded during peak tourist seasons, have made the Great Wall more accessible to a global audience. In contrast, many parts of the wall, especially those in more remote and rugged areas, present significant accessibility challenges. Sections that wind through mountainous landscapes or across barren deserts are much harder to reach. For instance, the Gansu and Ningxia regions contain sections of the wall that have been largely abandoned or fall into ruin, with little infrastructure to support tourism. While these more isolated parts of the wall have their own unique beauty and appeal, the treacherous terrain requires visitors to be more adventurous, often requiring hiking or even climbing. The lack of roads or established paths makes it difficult for many to access these areas, limiting the number of visitors and, in some cases, leaving them to deteriorate from neglect. There are also political factors that restrict access to certain sections of the Great Wall. Some parts of the wall lie near sensitive borders or military zones, and access is prohibited or tightly controlled for security reasons. In particular, sections of the wall in the Xinjiang region or areas near North Korea are off-limits to tourists due to the presence of military installations or political concerns. Even in regions where tourism is encouraged, there are certain restrictions on where visitors are allowed to go. Fencing, gates, and checkpoints are common, especially in areas that may be deemed too dangerous for the general public due to either unstable terrain or ongoing conservation efforts. These challenges to accessibility highlight the complexity of preserving such a monumental structure while also opening it up to global tourism. While some sections are carefully curated to accommodate large numbers of tourists, others are left untouched, either for their safety or their preservation. Ultimately, the accessibility of the Great Wall is a delicate balance between honouring its historical significance and allowing people to experience one of the world's greatest wonders firsthand. The Great Wall of China, though widely regarded as one of the most remarkable engineering feats in history, still holds many mysteries that remain unsolved. While much of the wall's construction history is well documented, there are still several ongoing archaeological and historical debates surrounding its origins, construction methods, and the true purpose of certain sections. Despite centuries of study, new questions continue to emerge, challenging historians and archaeologists to piece together the full story of this monumental structure. One of the most debated aspects of the Great Wall is the exact process by which it was built. While records suggest that massive labour forces, including soldiers, peasants, and prisoners, were used throughout various dynasties, the specifics of how these workers managed to move and position materials in such difficult terrain. In some areas, stones were hauled up steep mountainsides, while in others, packed earth and wood were used to create strong barriers. The methods used for building these sections are still debated, with some researchers questioning whether the materials used, particularly the tamped earth, would have been durable enough to withstand the test of time. Another mystery surrounds the purpose of certain sections of the wall, particularly those that appear to serve little military function. While much of the wall was built to protect against invasions from nomadic tribes, some sections seem to be placed in areas where there was little to no threat. These sections, often in remote or difficult to access locations, leave historians wondering whether their purpose was symbolic or ceremonial in nature. Did these sections represent more than just a defense mechanism, perhaps marking boundaries or asserting the power of the empire across vast stretches of land? Or were they designed to serve other, as yet unknown, strategic purposes? The presence of various types of materials along different sections of the Great Wall also raises questions about its construction. While much of the wall is made from stone and brick, there are areas where the construction seems to have used less durable materials, such as wood, earth, or even bamboo. This inconsistency has led some scholars to wonder if different regions of the wall served different functions. Were some sections intended to be temporary fortifications, while others were meant to be more permanent structures? And if so, why were these variations allowed? In addition to these construction-related mysteries, the Great Wall also has its share of legends and folklore that further complicate our understanding of its history. Some stories suggest that hidden treasures or secret passages exist within the wall's vast structure. Others claim that sections of the wall were built not to defend against invaders, but to conceal valuable resources. These myths, while often unverifiable, continue to add intrigue and mystery to the wall's already enigmatic nature. Despite these unresolved questions, the Great Wall remains a symbol of ancient ingenuity, a testament to the effort and ambition of the people who built it. However, the unsolved mysteries surrounding its construction and purpose continue to fuel both scholarly debate and public fascination. Each discovery offers new insights, but also new questions, ensuring that the full story of the Great Wall may never truly be told. In recent years, modern technology has played an essential role in the monitoring, the protection, and study of the Great Wall of China, offering new ways to preserve and understand this ancient monument. With its vast length and varying terrain, the wall is difficult to maintain and secure. However, Advancements in technology have provided invaluable tools to both safeguard its integrity and offer a deeper understanding of its structure and history. One of the most significant technological innovations used in the preservation of the Great Wall is satellite imagery. This technology allows for detailed and comprehensive mapping of the wall's entire length, including sections that are difficult to access. Satellite images provide an overhead view of the wall, revealing subtle features such as erosion, cracks, and shifts in the structure that might otherwise go unnoticed. With this data, conservationists can identify areas in need of repair or further investigation and prioritize maintenance efforts. Additionally, satellite imagery offers insights into the wall's relationship with the surrounding landscape, allowing historians and archaeologists to track the ancient roots and boundaries that the wall once guarded. Drones have also become indispensable tools for monitoring the wall's condition. These unmanned aerial vehicles offer a bird's-eye view of the wall's various sections, capturing high-resolution images and videos from angles that were previously difficult to reach. Drones can fly along remote and rugged stretches of the wall, providing real-time footage of its state. The ability to capture these images helps experts assess areas where traditional inspection might be too dangerous or logistically challenging. Moreover, drones can quickly survey large portions of the wall, making it easier to document changes over time and identify issues before they become serious threats to its structural integrity. In addition to these monitoring technologies, virtual tours have revolutionized how people around the world can experience the Great Wall. Through the use of 3D imaging and virtual reality, visitors can explore parts of the wall that are not easily accessible to the public, such as sections in remote areas or those that have been closed off for preservation. Virtual tours allow tourists and researchers to interact with the wall from the comfort of their own homes, providing immersive experiences that showcase its history and grandeur. These digital reconstructions not only bring attention to the wall's cultural significance, but also help educate global audiences on its preservation and the challenges it faces. The use of technology to monitor and protect the Great Wall of China represents a convergence of ancient history and modern innovation. These tools have allowed for more effective conservation efforts, greater public engagement, and enhanced historical research. As technology continues to evolve, the Great Wall will undoubtedly benefit from even more advanced methods of protection and preservation, ensuring that this iconic symbol of China's heritage remains intact for future generations. The Great Wall of China, a monumental symbol of the country's ancient history and defense, has long been admired for its engineering and strategic purpose. However, in contemporary discourse, the concept of a border wall has evolved into a complex and often controversial issue. The Great Wall, originally built to defend against nomadic invasions, has been compared to modern-day border walls in various parts of the world, from the United States-Mexico border to the walls constructed by other nations to protect their sovereignty. The idea of using physical barriers to delineate territories and secure borders brings forth debates that go beyond mere security measures. Much like the Great Wall's role in ancient China, modern-day border walls are often conceived as tools of defense. The Great Wall was a practical response to the need for security from invaders and to maintain control over territory. It physically embodied the empire's power, asserting dominance over the land it enclosed. Similarly, contemporary border walls are designed to control movement, protect national interests, and, in some cases, preserve cultural or economic sovereignty. These walls act as both a symbol of power and a physical manifestation of political ideology. They are often marketed as solutions to national security issues, offering a seemingly straightforward approach to complex problems of immigration, trade, and cultural exchange. However, The political implications of modern border walls extend far beyond their functional purpose. The Great Wall, despite its practical military role, was also a deeply ideological structure that symbolized China's efforts to protect its identity and way of life from foreign influence. This ideological function remains prevalent in today's political use of border walls. The rhetoric surrounding modern walls often touches on issues of national identity, fear of the other, and the perceived threats posed by outsiders. Modern walls, such as the one proposed at the US-Mexico border, evoke deeply divisive political debates about immigration, race, and national belonging, often drawing clear lines between citizens and non-citizens, insiders and outsiders. Just as the Great Wall reflected China's need for protection against external threats, the contemporary border walls similarly raise questions about how a nation defines its borders and, by extension, its identity. The construction of a border wall today can carry implications that go beyond security, touching on cultural, social, and human rights issues. In many cases, the debate centers on whether these walls foster division or unity, whether they protect or isolate, and whether they serve to uphold national security or fuel ideological conflicts. In this way, modern border walls are not simply extensions of the physical landscape, but are ideologically loaded symbols that shape the way societies view themselves and their relationship to the world. The Great Wall of China, though conceived in a very different time and context, continues to resonate today as a symbol of how borders, both physical and ideological, are contested, defended, and redefined throughout history. As the debate over modern-day border walls continues, it serves as a reminder of how such structures have long played significant roles in shaping political and cultural narratives across civilizations. The presence of the Great Wall of China deeply shaped ancient Chinese warfare, influencing both the strategies employed by Chinese forces and the tactics of their adversaries. The wall, an imposing structure that spanned vast distances across difficult terrains, became an integral part of military campaigns in the regions it protected. Its sheer size and defensive capabilities altered the way armies approached battle, fundamentally changing the methods of defense and offense used by both Chinese forces and their enemies. For the Chinese, the Great Wall was not merely a static barrier. It became a dynamic part of their defense strategy. As a symbol of imperial strength and security, it was strategically placed along the northern frontier to guard against the constant threat of nomadic invaders. The wall provided a vantage point for soldiers stationed in watchtowers, allowing them to spot enemy movements from a great distance. This early warning system gave the Chinese military a distinct advantage, allowing them time to mobilize forces, prepare defenses, and counterattacks. The wall was also utilized as a means of psychological warfare. Its towering presence along the border sent a clear message to invaders that they would not easily breach China's territory. As much as it was a physical barrier, it also served as a symbol of unyielding strength, deterring many from launching direct attacks. The knowledge that a formidable defense stood between them and the heart of the empire often made potential invaders reconsider their strategies. However, the Great Wall was not without its flaws. Despite its impressive defenses, the wall was not an impenetrable fortress. In many cases, invaders would attempt to bypass or scale the wall, often targeting its less fortified sections. To counter this, the Chinese military devised a series of tactical responses, including the use of elite soldiers and specialized units trained to defend the wall's more vulnerable points. The defensive strategies of ancient China, including the deployment of soldiers on horseback and the use of archers stationed along the wall, were directly influenced by the structure's design. Military campaigns often involved protecting the wall, securing its integrity, and maintaining the morale of the soldiers stationed there. The wall's defensive role was not limited to passive protection, but also played a crucial part in offensive strategies. When enemies did breach the wall or bypass its defences, the Chinese military used the wall as a launching point for counterattacks. The fortifications and watchtowers offered positions of high ground, ideal for gathering intelligence and mounting attacks on invaders. Military leaders utilized the wall to execute well-timed ambushes, often taking advantage of the terrain surrounding the wall to trap or encircle enemies. Throughout the centuries, the tactical use of the Great Wall evolved, but its presence remained central to Chinese warfare. It became a cornerstone of military strategy, influencing the course of battles and the nature of conflict along the northern frontier. The Great Wall was more than just a structure of stone and earth. It was a vital tool in the hands of those who sought to defend the empire, shaping the military tactics of ancient China and leaving a lasting legacy in the history of warfare. The Great Wall of China, an enduring symbol of resilience and ingenuity, has had a profound impact on the world, influencing both the design of fortifications and the development of military strategies across the globe. Spanning over 13,000 miles and constructed over several centuries, the Great Wall's architectural complexity and strategic significance have inspired countless defense systems worldwide. It stands not only as a physical barrier, but as a historical monument that continues to shape the way nations approach the concept of fortification. The design of the Great Wall itself has become a model for other nations throughout history. Its use of natural terrain for defensive advantage, taking into account the mountain ranges, deserts, and valleys, was a strategy that would later influence the design of other fortifications, emphasizing the integration of natural landscapes with man-made defenses. Watchtowers and signal fires, key features of the wall, would later be incorporated into military fortifications around the world, allowing for long-range communication and early detection of enemy movements. These features influenced the development of defensive structures that extended beyond mere walls, incorporating advanced surveillance systems and strategic outposts. The wall's imposing presence also contributed to the evolution of military thought. It embodied a philosophy of defense that relied on fortitude, psychological deterrence, and the strategic use of space. Nations looking to protect vast territories from invasion drew inspiration from the Great Wall's ability to not just impede physical access, but also intimidate potential adversaries. The idea of using large-scale walls as both a defensive and psychological barrier against invaders became a cornerstone of many later fortifications. European castles, for example, adopted similar designs, with high, thick walls and strategically placed towers that were meant to protect key points, while also sending a message of power and permanence. The Great Wall's influence on military thinking extended beyond mere defense structures. It also shaped the tactical concepts of delay, resistance, and attrition. In the centuries following its construction, military strategists worldwide began to understand the value of fortified positions as a means of slowing down or containing invading forces. The concept of holding a defensible position, as exemplified by the Great Wall, became a cornerstone of siege warfare tactics. Armies would often engage in prolonged skirmishes and sieges, relying on fortifications to wear down their enemies rather than defeating them outright in open combat. Moreover, the strategic importance of the Great Wall transcended its immediate geographic context, influencing military thinkers in both the East and West. It became a point of reference for those seeking to protect borders or defend against nomadic invaders. Even in the 20th century, during the rise of modern warfare, the wall's symbolism and practical lessons continued to resonate with military leaders and defense planners. Its impact on global military thinking, particularly in terms of fortifications and defense-in-depth strategies, cannot be overstated. Ultimately, the Great Wall of China, with its colossal scale and remarkable design, is not just a relic of ancient defense techniques, but a profound influence on the way nations and empires have approached the challenges of military defense throughout history. Its legacy endures in the continued evolution of fortifications and the strategies used to protect and preserve national security around the world. The Great Wall of China is not only a monumental feat of engineering and military strategy, but also a deeply spiritual symbol woven into the fabric of Chinese culture and religion throughout its vast expanse. The wall has been imbued with spiritual significance, representing more than just a physical barrier. It has come to embody the endurance of the Chinese people, their determination to protect their land, and their deep connection to the land itself. For many, the wall is not merely a relic of history, but a living testament to the harmony between human effort and the natural world, a concept that holds profound meaning in Chinese spirituality. The spiritual significance of the Great Wall can be traced to the belief in the importance of the balance between man and nature, a core tenet of traditional Chinese philosophy, particularly in Taoism and Confucianism. The wall was built through challenging terrains, including mountains, deserts, and forests, which were not seen as mere obstacles, but as sacred elements of the earth that needed to be respected and carefully navigated. In this sense, the wall's construction was not only about defense, but also about the harmonious integration of human will with the natural environment. This idea reflects the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or the principle of effortless action, which emphasizes working in harmony with the forces of nature. Throughout the centuries, certain sections of the wall have become sacred sites, attracting pilgrims who seek to honor the spiritual and historical significance of the structure. These rituals and pilgrimages are often tied to the deep reverence that Chinese people hold for their ancestors and the land that has sustained them. In particular, the wall is seen as a guardian, not only against invaders, but also against misfortune and spiritual imbalance. People visit the wall to pay homage to the ancestors who toiled to build it, offering prayers for protection, prosperity, and peace. Some of the most spiritually significant parts of the wall are found in the remote, mountainous regions where natural landscapes combine with the wall's ancient presence to create a place of contemplation and reflection. Pilgrims often bring offerings, such as incense and candles, and perform rituals to seek blessings for their lives and families. The wall is viewed as a bridge between the material and spiritual worlds, a place where the physical protection it once offered now transcends into a form of spiritual solace and guidance. The Great Wall's spiritual significance is also reflected in the myths and legends that surround it. These stories, passed down through generations, often tell of heroic figures who defended the wall with unwavering loyalty and courage. In these tales, the wall is not just a defensive structure, but a symbol of the strength and unity of the Chinese people, imbued with the power of those who built and protected it. In the modern era, the wall continues to serve as a spiritual landmark. While it may no longer function as a military barrier, it remains an enduring symbol of China's cultural heritage, offering a sense of continuity and connection to the past. Its presence in Chinese culture is not only historical, but also deeply spiritual, reminding all who visit it of the resilience and spiritual harmony that the wall represents. The Great Wall of China stands as a powerful symbol not only of military strategy, but also of the evolution of Chinese architecture. Spanning over vast regions, it reflects the development of architectural techniques and the adaptability of Chinese builders throughout the ages. The wall's construction over several centuries, from its earliest beginnings under the Qin dynasty to its final major developments during the Ming dynasty, showcases a progressive mastery of building materials, techniques, and design that would influence Chinese architecture for generations. The earliest sections of the wall, built during the Qin dynasty, were constructed with simple yet effective materials, primarily tamped earth and wood. The focus during this period was on building quickly and efficiently, as the primary purpose of the wall was to act as a defense against northern nomadic invaders. As time passed and the wall evolved under later dynasties, the materials and construction methods became more refined. By the time the Ming dynasty took control, the wall had transformed into a more complex and durable structure, using bricks and stone to create a lasting fortress. This shift was not just a result of increased military needs, but also a reflection of the growing sophistication of Chinese architecture. The architectural style of the Great Wall also mirrors the broader changes in Chinese design. Early walls were often simple, focusing on functionality and fortification, while later sections incorporated more advanced defensive features, such as watchtowers, beacon towers, and fortresses, which required specialized architectural knowledge. The use of these features showed the Chinese mastery of both military and architectural strategies, blending defensive needs with aesthetic considerations. The watchtowers, for instance, became iconic elements of the wall's design, offering both strategic vantage points for soldiers and serving as symbols of Chinese ingenuity in creating defensive structures. These towers were not only functional, but were often built with a keen sense of symmetry, reflecting the Chinese emphasis on balance and harmony in design. As the Great Wall expanded over different terrains, from the arid deserts of the north to the mountainous regions in the west, the architecture had to adapt. The use of local materials and techniques played a significant role in the construction process, and each section of the wall became a testament to the regional ingenuity of builders. In the northern and western regions, where stone was scarce, builders relied on mud bricks or compressed earth, techniques that would later influence the construction of other monumental buildings in China, particularly in rural and frontier regions. The Great Wall's influence on future Chinese building techniques cannot be overstated. The construction of such an imposing and enduring structure inspired later generations of architects, particularly during the Ming dynasty, when large-scale public works and fortifications became a hallmark of Chinese architecture. The techniques used in the wall's construction were passed down through the centuries, forming the foundation for the development of Chinese architecture in both military and civilian contexts. In essence, the Great Wall of China is not just a military defense, but a monumental reflection of the evolution of Chinese architecture, representing the blend of functionality, military necessity, and aesthetic tradition that defines China's architectural heritage. The Great Wall of China, stretching across diverse landscapes and climates, faces unique challenges that stem from the very environmental conditions it was built to withstand. Its construction was deeply influenced by the varied climate of China, which spans from arid deserts to humid forests and freezing mountain ranges. These differing climates not only dictated the materials used for building the wall, but also significantly impacted its preservation over the centuries. In the northern regions, where the wall is built across vast deserts and steppes, the extreme temperature fluctuations pose a constant threat to its structural integrity. The dry, arid conditions of the Gobi Desert, for example, have caused significant erosion to parts of the wall. The intense heat during the summer months and the freezing temperatures in the winter cause expansion and contraction of the materials used in the wall's construction, particularly the brick and stone elements. Over time, this constant stress has led to cracks and crumbling sections, especially in the more exposed parts of the wall. The desert winds, which carry sand and dust, further exacerbate the erosion, wearing down the surfaces and causing the mortar to loosen. As a result, the wall in these areas is particularly vulnerable to the elements, requiring constant upkeep and restoration efforts. In contrast, the areas of the Great Wall that run through more temperate regions, such as those near Beijing, experience a different set of challenges. The higher humidity levels and rainfall in these areas contribute to the growth of vegetation along the wall, which can infiltrate the cracks and cause further damage to the structure. The growth of moss, lichen, and plants can sometimes destabilize the bricks and stones, breaking them apart over time. Furthermore, the moisture can cause the wood used in certain sections of the wall to rot, leading to further structural weaknesses. These natural elements have made preservation efforts particularly difficult, as maintaining the wall in its original form requires careful monitoring and specialized conservation techniques. The mountainous regions of the wall, which climb steep slopes and traverse rugged terrain, are impacted by yet another set of environmental challenges. The freezing temperatures and heavy snowfall in the winter can cause the water in the cracks and crevices to freeze, expanding and further weakening the structure. Snowmelt in the spring can also wash away parts of the wall's foundation, leading to erosion. The constant freeze-thaw cycles are particularly damaging to the mud brick sections of the wall, causing them to disintegrate more quickly than the stone or brick parts. Despite these numerous challenges posed by nature, the Great Wall has endured for centuries, a testament to the foresight and skill of its builders. The diverse climates across which the wall was constructed have left their mark on the structure, but they have also shaped the way the wall was designed and the methods used to maintain it. Today, efforts to preserve the wall continue to grapple with the environmental forces that have, over time, chipped away at its once imposing presence. Throughout the centuries, the Great Wall of China has not only been a symbol of defense, but also the setting for countless heroic tales of soldiers who stood vigilant, guarding the empire against invaders. These stories have passed down through generations, blending fact with myth, and have become an integral part of the wall's legacy. The defenders of the wall were often seen as the first line of defense against the nomadic tribes from the north, facing relentless attacks with courage and resolve. The soldiers stationed along the wall were tasked with a monumental responsibility. Many of them were conscripted peasants, often sent to the wall as a form of punishment or to fulfill their military service. The life of a soldier on the wall was grueling long days spent under harsh conditions, with little to no contact with their families. However, these soldiers were deeply ingrained in the defense of China's borders, and many became legends for their bravery and sacrifices. It is said that some soldiers gave their lives to the wall, their spirits never leaving the battlements they once defended. The legend of Meng Jiangnu, a woman whose husband was conscripted to work on the wall and died from exhaustion, is one of the most famous stories tied to this sacrifice. Her grief and determination to find his body are said to have caused the wall to crumble, symbolizing the tragic price paid by those who manned the wall. One of the most famous military figures associated with the Great Wall is General Qi Jiguang, a military leader during the Ming Dynasty, known for his role in defending China against pirate raids and Mongol incursions. Qi's reputation as a strategist and leader was solidified through his work along the wall. He is credited with revamping the defensive strategy and fortifications along the wall, reinforcing weak sections and training soldiers to be more disciplined and effective. His contributions to military tactics, including the use of fire attacks and improved garrisoning techniques, helped to stabilize the northern defenses and prevent invasions that could have otherwise overrun the empire. Qi Jiguang's legacy endures not only through the historical texts, but also in the popular culture surrounding the wall, where he is depicted as a heroic figure who dedicated his life to the empire's defense. Another iconic figure is the legendary General Li Jing, who, though not directly associated with the wall's construction, became a symbol of military strength in China. During the Tang dynasty, Li Jing's strategies and campaigns against the nomadic tribes in the north contributed to the stability that allowed the wall to serve its defensive purpose. His ingenuity in military tactics and his role in safeguarding the empire inspired countless soldiers stationed along the wall. These heroes of the Great Wall have become symbols of strength, sacrifice, and perseverance. Their stories are woven into the fabric of Chinese history, illustrating not just the physical struggle to protect the empire, but also the emotional and spiritual toll the wall took on those who served. The legends of these defenders continue to echo through the ages, reminding us of the timeless devotion to protect one's land and people from all who would threaten it. Beneath the towering stones and rugged battlements of the Great Wall lie secrets buried deep in the earth, waiting to be uncovered. The wall, with its vast expanse spanning mountains, deserts, and grasslands, has long been a monument of defense and fortification, but it holds more than just the remnants of military prowess. Beneath the surface, archaeologists continue to uncover hidden passages, forgotten tunnels, and ruins that tell a different story of the wall's purpose, one that intertwines with the deeper, often hidden history of ancient China. Some of the most intriguing discoveries have been the subterranean tunnels that stretch under certain sections of the wall. These hidden pathways, once used by soldiers and spies, allowed for covert movement beneath the surface, ensuring that the defenders could respond quickly to threats. The tunnels, which connect some of the fortifications, were used not only for military strategy, but also for smuggling goods, passing messages, and hiding soldiers from invaders. These underground routes, often narrow and claustrophobic, are a testament to the ingenuity of the builders who knew the importance of secrecy in their defense plans. Their discovery has shed new light on the covert operations that took place within the wall, and how these passages helped protect China from its enemies. In addition to these tunnels, the wall has yielded evidence of hidden rooms and secret chambers, particularly in the fortresses and watchtowers that dot its length. These chambers, tucked away from plain sight, were often used to store supplies, weapons, and even sacred objects. In some areas, researchers have uncovered long-forgotten artifacts, including ancient coins, pottery, and weaponry that provide insight into the day-to-day life of those who manned the wall. These relics offer a glimpse into the lives of the soldiers, who often lived in isolation for months or years, safeguarding not just China's borders, but its very way of life. One of the most fascinating aspects of these discoveries is the revelation of ancient ruins that exist along or beneath the wall. In some cases, the wall itself was built over earlier structures, such as watchtowers or fortifications from previous dynasties, which had long been forgotten. These ruins, now unearthed, suggest that the wall's role as a protector was far from new. It was the final chapter in a long history of defense systems built by different generations of rulers. In some sections, archaeologists have even found remnants of older walls, constructed using primitive materials, predating the famed stone and brick construction of the Ming dynasty. The Great Wall continues to surprise us with its mysteries, and as technology advances, so too does our ability to explore its hidden depths. Satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and excavation techniques are allowing archaeologists to uncover more of these hidden treasures, expanding our understanding of the wall's complex history. What was once a symbol of defense against the outside world is now revealing itself as a layered structure of military, political, and social significance with each new discovery. offering a glimpse into the enigmatic past of one of the world's most remarkable monuments. Throughout the centuries, the Great Wall has inspired countless depictions in Chinese art, becoming a symbol not only of military strength, but also of the deep cultural significance embedded within the Chinese landscape. Artists across different dynasties have sought to capture the majesty and mystique of this monumental structure, imbuing it with layers of meaning that reflect China's history, philosophy, and artistic traditions. Traditional Chinese paintings often represent the wall as a colossal force, stretching endlessly across the rugged terrain, symbolizing the resilience and unity of the empire. In these works, the wall is depicted not just as a physical barrier, but as a metaphysical one, standing as a bulwark against chaos and destruction. The mountainous landscapes in which the wall is often set are painted with sweeping brushstrokes, highlighting the natural beauty and the way the wall harmoniously coexists with the environment. This blending of human achievement with nature echoes the Taoist ideal of balance, suggesting that the wall, though man-made, has become part of the natural order, enduring through the ages. In the delicate strokes of traditional Chinese calligraphy, the Great Wall is often used as a metaphor for perseverance and fortitude. Calligraphers, with their flowing, expressive inkwork, would sometimes write poems and inscriptions that praised the wall's enduring strength and the fortitude of the people who built it. The wall, in these inscriptions, becomes more than just a physical structure. It is a representation of the nation's spirit, unyielding, steadfast, and resolute. Calligraphers, using fluid movements and graceful characters, captured the essence of the wall's purpose, linking it to a sense of national pride and the collective will of the Chinese people. Throughout history, the visual representation of the wall has evolved, with artists from various periods infusing their work with contemporary concerns and political ideologies. During the Ming Dynasty, when the wall was at its zenith, artists depicted the wall as a grand and unyielding fortress, towering over the land as a protector of the empire. These depictions often reflect the Ming Dynasty's emphasis on power, military strength, and the idea of China as an eternal civilization that was impervious to external threats. In more modern times, Chinese artists have revisited the wall, interpreting it in new ways. Contemporary painters and photographers have explored the Great Wall's symbolism, often using it as a canvas to reflect on China's relationship with modernity, change, and the passage of time. The wall, in these depictions, is sometimes shown crumbling or overgrown with vegetation, symbolizing both the fragility of human achievement and the enduring nature of the land itself. These modern interpretations suggest a more complex understanding of the wall, not just as a barrier, but as a testament to both the triumphs and the trials of China's history. In all these artistic representations, whether in ancient scrolls or contemporary photography, the Great Wall remains a powerful symbol, intricately woven into the fabric of Chinese identity and imagination. The wall continues to stand not only as a physical monument, but as a subject of artistic expression that resonates with deep cultural and historical significance, reminding both the artist and the viewer of the complexities of China's past and its enduring presence in the world. Throughout history, the Great Wall was not only a symbol of protection and strength, but also a place where the lives of many individuals were forever altered. While it stood as a formidable barrier against external threats, it also became a prison for those who found themselves trapped within its walls. The wall, in some instances, was a place of punishment, a final resting place for those whose lives were tied to the empire's military and political machinations. For soldiers, the wall was often both a duty and a sentence. While many enlisted to defend the empire, some were sent to man the wall as a punishment for crimes or failure in their duties. In an age when failure in battle could be seen as a severe dishonor, soldiers who had committed offenses, whether on the battlefield or in their personal conduct, were sometimes banished to the wall's remote outposts. Here, far from civilization, they were tasked with guarding the empire's borders, isolated from their families and their former lives. It was a life of constant vigilance, cold winters, and long stretches without any sign of respite. For these soldiers, the wall became both a form of punishment and an unforgiving reminder of their failures. Prisoners, too, were confined to the wall in various ways. Criminals, often those who had committed acts of treason or theft against the state, were sentenced to work on the wall's construction. These individuals, once bound by chains, were forced to carry heavy loads of stone and earth up rugged mountain paths, enduring harsh conditions that were often fatal. The wall was both their prison and their labour camp. Many of them never returned from these laborious tasks, their lives consumed by the unforgiving nature of the wall's construction. For them, the wall became a tomb, a symbol of the empire's power and its capacity for punishment. At times, the wall was also used as a means of deterring and imprisoning rebels. During times of internal unrest, the ruling empire would send insurgents and dissenters to the wall, effectively removing them from society. These prisoners were often forced to live in the wall's remote, desolate outposts, far from their homes and families. Over time, many would disappear, without a trace, their names lost to history. The wall's harsh conditions broke the spirits of those who were sent to it, rendering it not just a physical barrier, but a psychological one as well. The stories of those who were trapped within the Great Wall remain part of its complex legacy. While it was built to protect the empire from external enemies, it also became a place of exile and suffering for those within. The wall's history is filled with accounts of individuals whose lives were either ended or forever altered by the very structure designed to keep invaders at bay. These stories, though largely forgotten by time, add another layer of meaning to the Great Wall, reminding us that its power extended far beyond the physical realm. It was not just a protector, but, for many, a silent witness to the darker sides of empire and punishment. During China's Cultural Revolution, the Great Wall found itself reimagined as more than just a physical structure. It became a symbol of the Chinese people's collective struggle, a metaphor for the revolutionary spirit that was sweeping the country. The Cultural Revolution, which began in 1966 under the leadership of Mao Zedong, was a time of profound political and social upheaval, marked by efforts to purge the country of perceived capitalist and traditional elements. During this period, the Great Wall was often invoked in propaganda, aligning it with the ideological shifts that were meant to redefine China's future. In the eyes of the revolutionaries, the wall symbolized the might and endurance of the Chinese people, a reminder of the resilience required to stand against both external and internal threats. Its imposing presence, stretching across the country, was used to emphasize the unity and strength of the communist movement. The wall became intertwined with the concept of the new China, a vision that sought to cast off the old ways of imperialism, feudalism, and capitalism. Revolutionary campaigns often utilized the wall's image to rally the masses to the cause of socialism, portraying it as a barrier against not just foreign invaders, but also the remnants of old, reactionary ideologies. However, the wall's role in the Cultural Revolution wasn't limited to mere symbolism. It also became a tool in political campaigns that targeted intellectuals, artists, and perceived enemies of the state. The Red Guards, a group of militant youth who were at the forefront of the Cultural Revolution, frequently used the wall as a backdrop for their ideological campaigns, publicly denouncing individuals, particularly those seen as counter-revolutionary, became a way to demonstrate loyalty to Mao and his vision. The wall, once a symbol of military defense, was now utilized as a platform for ideological warfare, where figures of authority could be publicly humiliated or even condemned. One of the most ironic aspects of the Great Wall's involvement in the Cultural Revolution was its juxtaposition with the very ideology that was meant to break with the past. The wall, a creation of ancient imperial China, now served as a tool in a movement that sought to eradicate traditional values and usher in a new era of communist thought. The revolutionaries, in a sense, reappropriated the wall's symbolism, transforming it from a reminder of imperial power and division to one of socialist unity and strength. In the end, the Great Wall's role during the Cultural Revolution was part of a broader effort to reshape China's identity. It was used to symbolize not just the endurance of the people, but also the ideological purity that the revolutionaries sought to instill in every facet of Chinese life. While the wall itself stood as a silent witness to these turbulent times, its image was woven into the fabric of the Cultural Revolution's political and cultural campaigns, reflecting the movement's drive to redefine China and its future. Throughout history, the Great Wall has captivated the imagination of countless individuals, and some have undertaken the monumental challenge of walking its entire length. These wall walkers have come from diverse backgrounds, united by a shared determination to conquer one of the world's most iconic and imposing structures. Their motivations range from personal quests for endurance and self-discovery to a desire to understand the wall's historical significance in a deeply intimate way. These journeys, however, are never without challenges. One such journey was undertaken by a man named William Lindsay, a British traveller who first came to China in the 1980s. Intrigued by the wall's sheer scale and the mysteries surrounding its construction, Lindsay began his quest to walk its length. The journey was not an easy one, involving long stretches across the rugged terrain, from the windswept deserts to the harsh mountains. The Great Wall, in its entirety, spans thousands of miles, and walking its length meant contending with unpredictable weather, crumbling sections of the wall, and the physical toll of walking such a vast distance. Lindsay's story is one of perseverance, as he braved the conditions, even taking on sections of the wall that were inaccessible to most, to understand the history behind it firsthand. His trek took years, and along the way, he documented his journey, providing insights into the physical and emotional strain of walking the wall, while also unraveling stories of the past. Other wall walkers have shared similar stories of awe and difficulty. For many, walking the Great Wall is a personal pilgrimage, a way to connect with history in a manner few others have done. Some walk the wall for spiritual reasons, viewing the journey as a test of willpower and an opportunity to reflect on their place in the world. Others, motivated by historical curiosity, seek to explore the remote and less traversed sections of the wall, those areas that have been neglected or forgotten over time. These sections, often in disrepair, tell tales of the wall's decline and the challenges of preserving such a vast and ancient structure. The wall itself presents a unique set of challenges. Many parts of the wall have eroded over centuries, with uneven steps, loose stones, and decaying towers standing as a testament to the passage of time. The journey is both physically demanding and emotionally evocative. The wall's crumbling state serves as a reminder of the fragility of human achievements. For the walkers, it's a humbling experience, a journey of introspection as they follow the footsteps of those who once walked its lengths, carrying their hopes and fears with each step. Walking the Great Wall is not merely a physical challenge, but a deeply personal endeavour that unearths a connection to history, culture, and self. It's a way of experiencing something so monumental that it forces one to confront the limits of endurance, as well as the unrelenting passage of time. These wall walkers, each with their unique motivations and experiences, have added their own stories to the ever-growing legend of the Great Wall. Their journeys highlight the wall's enduring ability to inspire, challenge, and transform those who dare to walk its length. The Great Wall of China, an awe-inspiring feat of human ingenuity, stretches across some of the most diverse and challenging landscapes in the world. From the harsh deserts of Gansu to the lush hills of Hebei, the wall winds through areas that are home to unique ecosystems. Its very presence has shaped and, in some cases, altered the environment it traverses. Over the centuries, however, the Great Wall's environmental impact has been a double-edged sword, both influencing the natural world around it and facing pressures from it. One of the most significant environmental effects of the Great Wall has been its disruption of local ecosystems. The construction of the wall required massive amounts of materials, including stone, earth, and timber, which were often sourced from the surrounding environment. In the areas where trees were felled to provide timber for the wall's construction, deforestation took root. While many areas have since regrown, the process of deforestation led to soil erosion, particularly in the more mountainous and desert regions. The wall's long presence in these areas has thus been intertwined with environmental degradation, as erosion in certain parts has been exacerbated by human activity. In addition, the Great Wall's formidable structure has created a physical barrier that has impacted the movement of animals. Over time, species in the area have been restricted in their ability to migrate freely across vast sections of land, impacting biodiversity. Though the wall was originally designed for defense, it has inadvertently acted as a boundary that limits wildlife corridors, with animals unable to traverse its massive length. This, in turn, has affected the natural balance of the regions it passes through. For example, certain animal populations have become isolated, leading to a decline in genetic diversity, which can increase vulnerability to disease and environmental change. However, the environmental challenges posed by the wall are not solely due to its physical construction. The human activity surrounding it, particularly tourism, has contributed to its environmental strain. With millions of visitors flocking to the Great Wall each year, large sections have faced the pressures of mass tourism. The heavy foot traffic has led to further erosion, particularly in areas where the wall is most accessible, such as the sections near Beijing. The materials used to restore and reinforce parts of the wall, such as cement, have sometimes been at odds with the original, more sustainable building methods, and can further contribute to environmental degradation. The natural forces of erosion, including wind, rain, and temperature fluctuations, have also taken their toll on the wall's structure. Over time, sections of the Great Wall, especially those built from earth or wood, have deteriorated significantly. In some regions, the wall has almost disappeared beneath the advancing sands of the Gobi Desert. As the wall decays, it faces the challenge of preservation. Environmental forces continue to wear down its once solid foundations, and the wall's integrity is increasingly threatened by both natural and human-caused factors. Conservation efforts today are focused on balancing the wall's preservation with the need to protect the environment around it. Modern restoration techniques aim to preserve the wall's cultural and historical value while minimizing environmental damage. However, finding ways to conserve both the wall and the surrounding ecosystems is an ongoing challenge. The balance between maintaining this monumental structure and protecting the natural world is a delicate one, and the wall's environmental impact is a reflection of both human ambition and the enduring power of nature itself. The Great Wall of China has long been a symbol of both defense and architectural ingenuity, influencing not only the cultural and military landscape, but also the development of Chinese architecture. Its design, materials, and construction techniques have left an indelible mark on other iconic structures throughout China, shaping the country's architectural styles for centuries. The Wall, with its diverse construction methods and strategic placement across varied terrain, exemplifies the adaptability and ingenuity of ancient Chinese builders. One of the most significant ways the Great Wall influenced Chinese architecture is through its use of local materials and adaptive design. In regions where stone was abundant, such as in the northern and western sections, the wall was constructed using large stone blocks, creating an imposing, durable structure. In areas where timber and earth were more readily available, such as in the central parts of the wall, the use of rammed earth and wood was more common. This adaptation to local resources would become a cornerstone of Chinese architecture, where materials were chosen based on the climate, geography, and availability of resources. The same approach can be seen in other monumental Chinese structures, from the imperial city in Beijing to the various temples and pagodas scattered across the country. The Great Wall's defensive features also influenced the design of other buildings. The concept of fortified walls with watchtowers, gates, and strategic lookout points was incorporated into both military and civilian architecture. The use of defensive architecture, with towering walls and fortified gates, became a hallmark of Chinese palaces, temples, and city walls. For example, the Forbidden City in Beijing, which served as the imperial palace for centuries, incorporated elements of fortification, with its massive walls and strategic gatehouses that echoed the defensive principles seen in the Great Wall. Moreover, the Great Wall's emphasis on hierarchical spatial organization separating the military and civilian areas, with clear demarcations between protected and open spaces, can also be seen in the design of other significant structures. In Chinese temples and palaces, there is often a distinct division between public and private spaces, a concept likely drawn from the wall's function of controlling access and maintaining security. The design of Chinese gardens, with their careful arrangement of paths, walls, and gates, may also have been influenced by the wall's layout, which directs movement and provides a sense of controlled flow, balancing openness with protection. In terms of architectural styles, the Great Wall's use of symmetry and alignment influenced the design of other large-scale structures. Its massive scale and continuous nature, stretching across thousands of miles, emphasized the importance of unity in design, an idea that was carried over into Chinese architecture, especially in the layout of imperial structures. The wall's focus on strength and resilience, combined with aesthetic considerations, helped shape a design philosophy that valued both function and form. The relationship between the construction of the Great Wall and the broader trends in Chinese architecture is unmistakable. The wall, as both a military fortification and architectural feat, laid the foundation for how buildings and cities would be designed in China for centuries to come, from the strategic placement of materials to the integration of defensive features. The Great Wall's legacy continues to influence Chinese architecture, making it not only a symbol of protection, but also a testament to the ingenuity and vision of the ancient builders. In modern Chinese politics, the Great Wall has transcended its original purpose as a military defense structure, evolving into a powerful symbol woven deeply into the fabric of national identity. The wall represents not only the historical might and resilience of China, but also functions as a tool in shaping contemporary political narratives. It is often invoked in discussions surrounding the country's unity, strength, and enduring spirit, reflecting the pride of the Chinese people in their long and storied past. One of the key aspects of the Great Wall's role in modern political discourse is its association with the concept of national unity. The wall, which once served as a physical barrier against invaders, now symbolizes the unification of China as a cohesive entity, overcoming regional divisions and foreign threats. In a country with such vast geographic and cultural diversity, the Great Wall has become a metaphor for the unity of the Chinese people, particularly in a time when the country has undergone rapid modernization and expansion. Politicians frequently reference the wall when emphasizing the importance of national solidarity, suggesting that, like the wall, China must remain strong and united in the face of internal and external challenges. The Great Wall's enduring presence also plays a central role in representing China's strength and resilience. The wall, which took centuries to build and requires constant maintenance to withstand the forces of nature, serves as a testament to the Chinese people's determination. In a country that has experienced political upheaval, foreign invasions, and economic struggles, the wall has come to symbolize not just physical endurance, but the collective will of the people to rise above adversity. In speeches and national campaigns, leaders often invoke the wall as a metaphor for the fortitude needed to overcome the modern-day obstacles facing the nation, from economic challenges to global political tensions. Moreover, the Great Wall plays a significant role in China's global identity. It is regularly used as a symbol of the nation's emerging influence on the world stage. Politicians use the wall to convey the message that China, like the wall itself, is a force to be reckoned with, an ancient civilization with a modern perspective, unyielding and confident in its ability to shape the future. The wall's image is often prominently featured in international relations, with its iconic structure serving as a representation of China's history and its strategic significance in global affairs. The symbolic weight of the wall is not just tied to China's past, but to its present and future as a global power. As China continues to assert its political and economic influence, the Great Wall has become inextricably linked to the country's aspirations and ambitions. It is no longer simply a relic of ancient times, but a living symbol that reflects China's journey from historical isolation to global prominence. The wall's image, ever present in both domestic and international discourse, continues to serve as a reminder of the strength, resilience, and unity of the Chinese people, casting a long shadow over both the country's past and its future. The preservation of the Great Wall has become a critical challenge, as the structure faces numerous natural and human threats that jeopardize its survival. Over the centuries, the wall has endured the ravages of time, weather, and warfare, but its greatest enemy now is neglect and the pressures of modern development. Efforts to preserve this iconic symbol of China's history are ongoing, but these conservation strategies face a complex web of obstacles that require innovative solutions. One of the main threats to the Great Wall is the natural erosion caused by weather conditions. The wall stretches across diverse terrains, from the arid deserts of the northwest to the humid, rainy regions in the east, each presenting its own set of environmental challenges. Wind, rain, and shifting sand dunes steadily chip away at the wall's materials, especially in the more remote areas where preservation efforts are limited. Sections built with less durable materials, such as mud bricks or tamped earth, are especially vulnerable to the elements. Additionally, natural disasters like earthquakes can weaken the wall's foundations, while vegetation growth in some regions exacerbates the process of erosion by breaking apart the wall's structure. Protecting the wall from these natural forces requires ongoing monitoring and adaptive management, ensuring that the most vulnerable sections receive targeted intervention. Human threats have also played a significant role in the degradation of the Great Wall. Urban expansion, illegal construction activities, and tourism have all contributed to its deterioration. As China has rapidly industrialized, areas surrounding the wall have seen an influx of development, with roads, buildings, and infrastructure encroaching on its path. In some cases, entire sections of the wall have been dismantled or destroyed to make way for modern development projects. Moreover, large numbers of tourists visiting the wall every year often unintentionally contribute to its damage. The influx of visitors, especially those venturing off the designated paths, results in wear and tear on the structure. Graffiti, litter, and even acts of vandalism by some tourists further tarnish the wall's historical integrity. To combat these issues, the Chinese government, in collaboration with conservationists and UNESCO, has implemented several preservation strategies aimed at safeguarding the Great Wall. One such effort includes establishing protected zones around the most iconic sections, like those near Beijing, to limit human interference. Efforts to restore and reinforce damaged areas have included reconstructing sections using traditional building techniques, utilizing modern materials where necessary to stabilize weaker sections. Restoration projects, however, must balance the need to preserve the wall's historical authenticity with the necessity of maintaining its structural integrity, a challenge that often sparks debate among experts. In addition to physical restoration, there has been a push to promote sustainable tourism that minimizes environmental impact. Educating visitors about the importance of preserving the wall, along with providing controlled access to its most delicate areas, helps mitigate the damage caused by foot traffic. Efforts to enhance public awareness about the wall's cultural significance and the threats it faces have gained momentum, ensuring that future generations will continue to appreciate its historical value. Despite these concerted efforts, the challenges to preserving the Great Wall remain vast. The need for long-term commitment, international collaboration, and innovative solutions is more pressing than ever as the wall continues to face the combined pressures of time, nature, and human activity. The Great Wall has evolved from a historical and military marvel into a key driver of China's modern economy. Its significance stretches far beyond its cultural value, as it has become one of the most visited landmarks in the world, contributing substantially to tourism revenue. The wall's allure attracts millions of visitors each year, both domestic and international, and this influx of tourists has a profound impact on local economies, creating jobs and fostering business growth in surrounding areas. Tourism to the Great Wall generates significant revenue for China, and much of this money flows directly into the local economies, where the wall is situated. Cities like Beijing, which is home to some of the most famous sections of the wall, such as Badaling and Mutianyu, benefit greatly from the tourist traffic. Hotels, restaurants, and transportation services see a spike in demand, and small businesses that sell souvenirs or offer guided tours thrive as well. The influx of tourists creates a ripple effect, benefiting artisans, craftsmen, and even farmers who offer their goods to travelers looking for authentic experiences. Local economies in areas surrounding the wall have seen a marked improvement, with infrastructure developments such as better roads, railways, and public services being made to accommodate the growing number of visitors. In addition to direct revenue from tourism, the Great Wall also stimulates the economy by providing opportunities for education, research, and cultural exchange. Archaeological digs, preservation efforts, and studies related to the wall require funding and skilled labour, offering jobs to experts and workers in fields ranging from history and architecture to engineering and environmental science. Furthermore, international partnerships in preserving the wall attract investments and sponsorships, boosting the financial viability of local economies. On a broader scale, the tourism-driven growth sparked by the Great Wall aligns with China's strategic efforts to bolster its service industry and global tourism appeal. The Chinese government has actively supported these initiatives, promoting the wall as a symbol of national pride and a unique cultural asset. Special events, such as festivals or international conferences held near the wall, also contribute to increasing awareness and driving international tourism to China. However, while the economic benefits of the Great Wall are clear, they come with their own challenges. The sheer volume of tourists poses a risk to the delicate preservation of the wall, leading to overexploitation of certain sections. Managing the balance between fostering economic growth and maintaining the wall's integrity has been a complex task, requiring sustainable tourism strategies and careful regulation of visitor numbers. In conclusion, the Great Wall of China plays a vital role in modern China's economy, creating wealth and opportunities for the communities around it. Its cultural, historical, and economic importance continues to resonate as it stands as a testament to China's past while fueling its future growth. The wall, with its enduring power as both a symbol and economic engine, remains a cornerstone of both the nation's heritage and its modern-day prosperity. During China's Cultural Revolution, which lasted from 1966 to 1976, the Great Wall took on new layers of significance, becoming a symbol that was manipulated to fit the political and ideological goals of the time. The Cultural Revolution, led by Mao Zedong, sought to eliminate remnants of old culture and consolidate the power of the Communist Party. As part of this broader campaign, the wall, which had long represented the strength of the Chinese Empire, was reinterpreted to symbolize the enduring power of the revolution and the strength of the socialist state. At the time, the wall's legacy as a symbol of imperial might was seen as a potential obstacle to the communist agenda. The Maoist regime was focused on eradicating the influences of feudalism, imperialism, and old traditions that were perceived as incompatible with the revolutionary ideals of equality and modernization. The Great Wall, as a symbol of China's imperial past, was put under scrutiny, and in some instances, parts of it were subjected to neglect or even destruction. The Cultural Revolution's ideological purging extended to sites of historical significance, and while the wall itself remained intact in many places, it was shrouded in the politics of revolution, often stripped of its ancient glory and reframed as part of the old world that needed to be surpassed. Nevertheless, the wall's immense cultural weight meant that it could not be erased entirely from the national consciousness. As the Cultural Revolution progressed, the wall began to be reimagined, repurposed as a symbol of the unyielding nature of the revolution. Revolutionary propaganda surrounding the wall depicted it as a bastion of socialist strength, emphasizing its role in protecting the people and the revolution against outside threats. The image of the Great Wall, once a physical barrier built to separate and protect China from nomadic invaders, was recontextualized as a metaphor for the protection of the revolution and the communist ideology from foreign and domestic enemies. This reimagining of the wall during the Cultural Revolution was not just an exercise in symbolism. It was a means of aligning China's ancient heritage with the present socialist cause. Despite the revolution's assault on the traditional culture of China, the wall was ultimately absorbed into the narrative of the Communist Party's strength and resolve. Its preservation as a national monument, though initially at odds with the period's goals, would later become a symbol of both continuity and change. In the years that followed, the wall's role as a symbol became more complex. Its legacy, altered by the Cultural Revolution, was revitalized in the post-revolutionary era when China began to open up to the world again. As a monumental icon of Chinese history, the wall stood as a testament to both the old and new, a physical reminder of China's imperial past and a symbol of the nation's determination in the face of new challenges. The Cultural Revolution's imprint on the wall's symbolism remains a reminder of how the past, even when suppressed, continues to shape the present. The Great Wall has always been more than just a physical barrier stretching across China's northern frontier. It is a vital piece of the nation's cultural heritage, deeply embedded in the identity of local communities. For centuries, it has symbolized the resilience and ingenuity of the Chinese people, and its preservation has become a collective effort by those who live near its winding paths. The wall is not just a historical monument. It is an integral part of the living, breathing history of China, with each brick and stone telling a story of perseverance, protection, and survival. Local communities that reside along the Great Wall have long recognized its importance and have taken pride in their role as stewards of this ancient structure. For many, the wall is not a distant relic of the past, but a part of their daily lives, woven into the fabric of their surroundings. Villages that have stood for centuries near the wall often have legends and stories passed down through generations, preserving the cultural significance of the wall in the oral traditions of the people. These communities view the Great Wall not as an external monument, but as a protector, a witness to their ancestors' struggles, and a symbol of their enduring connection to China's imperial history. In recent decades, local efforts to protect and preserve the wall have gained momentum. While the wall faces numerous challenges, from natural erosion to the pressures of modern development, the people living in proximity to it have become its greatest defenders. Many villagers actively engage in maintaining and restoring sections of the wall, often working alongside government preservation projects. This local engagement is not only driven by a sense of duty to safeguard their heritage, but also by the recognition that the Great Wall is an economic asset, attracting millions of tourists each year who contribute to the local economy. For these communities, protecting the wall is both an act of cultural preservation and an economic necessity. The role of local communities extends beyond physical conservation. They serve as the cultural custodians of the wall's legacy, passing on its stories and significance to younger generations. Schools and cultural programs in these areas often teach children about the history of the wall, ensuring that its importance is never forgotten. Furthermore, many of these communities are involved in the tourism industry, guiding visitors through the wall's expansive stretches, offering insights into its construction and history that go beyond what is found in books. They provide a living connection to the wall, helping visitors understand not just the history, but the deep cultural ties that bind it to the land and its people. While the government plays a significant role in the protection and restoration of the wall, it is the local people who breathe life into its preservation. Their ongoing interaction with the Great Wall, through preservation, storytelling, and teaching, ensures that it remains a living monument. The wall is not just a stone structure. It is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Chinese people, passed down through generations and protected by the very communities it was built to safeguard. As China continues to rapidly modernize and urbanize, the future of the Great Wall faces significant challenges, yet it also presents opportunities for reinvention and deeper integration into the country's evolving identity. The wall, once a symbol of ancient military defense, now serves as a powerful reminder of China's rich cultural heritage, but its preservation amidst the pressures of modernization is a delicate balancing act. Urban expansion, infrastructure development, and growing tourism all place increasing demands on this ancient structure, Yet the wall's symbolic value and historical importance continue to draw the attention of both national and international communities. Modernization, particularly in nearby urban areas, often threatens the integrity of the wall. Construction projects and sprawling cities have encroached upon its original locations, with some sections suffering from environmental degradation and human activity. However, alongside these pressures, there is a growing recognition of the wall's value, not only as a national treasure, but also as a global heritage site. Efforts are being made to protect and conserve the wall, integrating it into the fabric of China's modern identity while respecting its historical significance. In the future, the Great Wall will likely become more intertwined with the nation's expanding tourism industry, playing a central role in the cultural and economic development of China's northern regions. With the increase in global travel and China's own push to develop its domestic tourism infrastructure, the wall is positioned to serve as a major destination for visitors from all over the world. This surge in tourism offers economic benefits, but also necessitates careful management to ensure the preservation of the wall's physical and cultural integrity. Advanced technologies, such as drones, satellite imaging, and virtual reality, may be used to monitor and protect the wall, while enhancing the visitor experience, ensuring that the wall's history and significance continue to be shared with future generations. Furthermore, the integration of the Great Wall into the urban landscapes of China's future could be achieved through thoughtful urban planning and conservation initiatives. Rather than being isolated or obstructed by the encroachment of cities, the wall could serve as a connective element, linking urban and rural areas, symbolizing the continuity between China's past and its present. This integration could involve the development of cultural parks, educational centers, and community spaces surrounding the wall, making it a living monument that actively participates in the modern cultural and economic life of the country. China's commitment to innovation and growth will inevitably shape the way the wall is preserved and incorporated into the country's future. While the challenges of modernization are undeniable, the Great Wall's enduring legacy ensures that it will remain a central part of China's identity. With thoughtful conservation, technological integration, and an emphasis on cultural education, the wall will continue to be not only a symbol of China's past, but also a part of its dynamic future, inspiring new generations to appreciate its timeless significance in an ever-changing world. The Great Wall of China, a monumental feat of engineering and human determination, has left an indelible mark on the world, influencing the design and symbolism of walls in various parts of the globe. Its vast presence, extending over 13 miles, made it an icon of defense, division, and unity, inspiring the construction of walls in other countries, both literally and metaphorically. While other nations did not necessarily replicate its physical scale, they often drew upon its cultural and symbolic significance as a barrier, whether to keep out invaders, mark territorial boundaries, or symbolize a nation's resolve to protect its people. Across the globe, from the Berlin Wall in Germany to the borders of the United States and Mexico, the Great Wall's legacy as a symbol of division and defense has influenced how walls are perceived. The Berlin Wall, constructed during the Cold War, became a poignant symbol of the ideological and political divisions between East and West, much like the Great Wall symbolized the separation between the Chinese Empire and nomadic invaders from the north. Though the contexts are vastly different, both walls served as physical representations of a larger narrative, one of territorial control, political ideology, and national identity. They also highlighted the human costs of such divisions, as people on both sides of these walls faced the challenges of isolation, restriction, and in many cases, separation from family and loved ones. The metaphor of the Great Wall has also been widely adopted in political discourse, where it serves as a symbol of protection, security, and defense against perceived external threats. In modern-day rhetoric, leaders and policymakers often invoke the image of a wall to signify a commitment to safeguarding their nation's interests, whether in terms of border security, national identity, or cultural integrity. The notion of a wall as a defensive barrier is a powerful one, encapsulating the idea that societies must protect themselves from external dangers, a concept that has been echoed in various forms by nations around the world. However, the Great Wall's influence extends beyond just physical barriers. It also raises questions about the nature of division itself. While it was initially built to keep invaders at bay, the wall's symbolism has evolved over the centuries to represent not only physical protection, but also the deeper divisions between cultures, nations, and ideologies. In contemporary society, the concept of walls, whether literal or metaphorical, has come to symbolize not just protection, but the cost of such protection, the separation of peoples, the restriction of freedoms, and the perpetuation of distrust and division. The Great Wall's enduring influence, therefore, lies not only in its physical form, but also in the broader conversations it sparks about borders, protection, and the impact of division on societies. From political boundaries to cultural divides, the wall's legacy continues to shape how we think about walls and barriers, reminding us that while they may protect, they also isolate, and that the true challenge lies in finding ways to protect while fostering connection rather than division. The Great Wall of China, as one of the most monumental defense structures ever built, offers profound lessons about the nature of borders, defense, and security that resonate far beyond the ancient world. Its very existence reveals the complexities of protecting a civilization, not just physically, but ideologically and culturally. Stretching over thousands of miles, the wall embodies the human desire to defend against external threats, a desire that has shaped the history of nations and borders for millennia. It was designed to keep out invaders, but over time, it came to symbolize more than just a physical boundary. It became a representation of the protection of values, culture, and identity. One of the primary lessons the Great Wall teaches is the cost and complexity of creating and maintaining security. While the wall provided a formidable defense, its construction required immense resources, human labor, and sacrifice. It demonstrates that defense, whether in the form of walls, fortifications, or modern military technologies, is never without its price. The wall's legacy also reminds us of the limitations of physical barriers. Despite its scale and strength, it could not prevent the eventual fall of the northern frontier. This teaches a crucial lesson. No matter how impenetrable a barrier may seem, external forces will eventually find ways to bypass or break through. Security, therefore, is not solely reliant on physical walls, but on adaptability, intelligence, and continuous vigilance. The wall also offers insights into the nature of borders. While borders are often seen as necessary lines of defense and national sovereignty, the Great Wall reveals that they are not always fixed. The continuous evolution of the wall's construction over various dynasties, from simple earthen structures to fortified walls made of brick and stone, speaks to the changing needs and understanding of boundaries. Borders, as the wall shows, are not immutable. They must adapt to changing political landscapes, technologies, and threats. What may once have been an effective defense can become obsolete or insufficient with time, and thus the concept of security requires flexibility and constant reassessment. In addition to these lessons, The Great Wall reminds us of the moral and ethical considerations that come with securing borders. The labour that went into constructing the wall, often performed by conscripted soldiers, peasants, and prisoners, highlights the human cost of maintaining a division between cultures and peoples. The wall's very purpose, to keep out invaders, also raises questions about what it means to protect one's own, while excluding others. In modern times, similar debates about borders often centre on the balance between security and compassion, the desire to protect one's nation while maintaining openness to the outside world. Ultimately, the Great Wall teaches us that security is a multifaceted challenge. While physical barriers are part of the equation, they are not the entire solution. True security involves understanding the threats, adapting to changing circumstances, and addressing the human aspects of defence, such as the toll on lives and cultures that walls often bring. The Great Wall stands as both a symbol of human ingenuity and a reminder of the ongoing struggle between isolation and connection in the pursuit of security. The legacy of the Great Wall extends far beyond its physical presence, transcending time, culture, and geopolitical boundaries. In the 21st century, this ancient marvel continues to hold deep significance, both for China and the world. While the wall no longer serves as a military defense, its enduring symbolism remains a powerful reflection of China's historical strength, resilience, and cultural heritage. Standing as a testament to human ingenuity and determination, it endures as a focal point of national pride and a symbol of protection, both physical and ideological. The wall's impact on China today is multifaceted. It continues to inspire a sense of unity and identity, deeply rooted in the history of the nation. As the country evolves into a global power, the wall's legacy serves as a reminder of the enduring strength of Chinese civilization. It represents the long-standing efforts to preserve sovereignty, maintain cultural integrity, and defend against external forces, qualities that resonate in modern China's approach to both internal unity and international relations. Its presence is not merely a physical barrier, but a representation of the nation's collective resolve to protect what it holds dear. In the contemporary era, the Great Wall also plays a role in shaping China's cultural narrative. It serves as a symbol of the nation's rich history and cultural continuity, emphasizing the achievements of past generations while also inspiring future generations. As China's global influence grows, the wall stands as an emblem of its ancient roots, reminding the world of the country's resilience and historical significance. It remains a source of national pride, a link to the past, and a cornerstone of China's modern identity. Yet, the legacy of the wall also presents challenges. As a symbol of strength and protection, it raises questions about the balance between defense and openness, a theme that continues to be relevant in global discussions about borders, security, and international relations. In modern times, as the world becomes increasingly interconnected, the idea of constructing walls, physical or metaphorical, raises important debates about inclusivity, security, and the human cost of division. The Great Wall, while once a barrier to invaders, now prompts reflection on the broader themes of isolation and connection in a rapidly changing world. The wall's preservation and ongoing relevance are vital aspects of its legacy. As it stands in the 21st century, it faces challenges from modernity, urbanization, and natural erosion. Yet, it endures as a symbol not only of historical power, but also of the importance of safeguarding cultural heritage. In the face of these challenges, efforts to protect and preserve the wall continue. ensuring that future generations will have the opportunity to experience and learn from this extraordinary structure. Ultimately, the legacy of the Great Wall is one of continuity and transformation. It remains an icon of China's past, while serving as a reminder of the ever-evolving nature of security, culture, and identity in the modern world. It continues to inspire, challenge, and protect, offering lessons that stretch far beyond the walls themselves, and shaping how China and the world view the past, present, and future.